So
we are live. How's everyone doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
Hey, been working on upgrading, like I showed you earlier, the wall of cool shit. So I'm in a great mood, simply because.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. Forgot I had it open in another window. It's like, wait, I meant to close that. I don't need it no more.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You randy little bastard. Tell you what, it's good to be back, bro. It's good to be back.
Glad to have you back.
I feel like a homecoming.
It does.
Definitely. That's why I specifically named this Mr. Mahvel Homecoming.
Hey.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've been on a meeting on the mines, hasn't it?
I mean, I think it's been since the summer.
Yeah.
It has. It's like you were on the early meetings of the mine, and then you got busy and everything and weren't able to be on regularly. It happens, though.
Yeah, then what happens? Yeah, because then what ends up happening is I'll get super busy, right? But the live chats will go on without me. Next thing you know, they have a set of guests. They have a set of regulars. I come back, I have time for live chats, and it's like I end up having to find a new show for a little bit until it's like, all right, I'm busy. I can't play anymore. Sorry.
You know you're always welcome on meeting.
No, you know what I mean, though. You know what I mean. You tend to get out of the routine, and next thing you know, you're like, I mean, there was a good 2-3 months I didn't live chat. I didn't go on any streams because it was like, oh, I just don't even have the capability to like broadcast. You know what I mean? Like now, God, in the last 2-3 weeks, I've live streamed more than I have in a while. But I'm glad because we've been able to get the gospel of the Juan out there to everyone.
Very true. Very true.
And next to the gospel of Jesus Christ, it is the next best thing. We got to have the Juan.
Yes. Juan believes in God. Juan is a Christian, so.
righteous. Well, he is Spanish, and so most Spanish people do believe in God. So
he doesn't say it out loud because he doesn't want to get in trouble in his SJW circles. He says like an act of contrition at the end of the week.
Right. No. Either way, though. So, how is issue 2 going? Speaking of the fun.
I am actually now finally again doing big time paneling all across the board and everything. So it's going great because I'm back in the the routine of it, and every time the longer it goes in between me doing a page, the more I actually learn from everything else I did in between. So now my pages are starting to look better, cleaner, crisper, and I'm producing them faster, and I'm picking up like shortcuts, like personal shortcuts in my production. None that I would ever teach anybody to do because it's lazy, but a way to help me get like mass production on a bunch of different stories while I'm still doing it all by myself.
Oh yeah, that's one of those gotta learn ways to make the job easier. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Joe Quesada, Senior would, not just John Romero Senior, would do like 3 books, 4 books a month by himself. You don't think he had his shortcuts?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm probably sure he probably had stuff paneled somewhere else, and then he just copied and pasted into areas and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing, I'm more comfortable doing it now because the more I work digital, and like I'm starting to watch tutorials from like pros, like actual comic pros that do things digitally. Specifically like Todd McFarlane, who is God to me.
I don't blame you.
And he said something really cool in like this. It was almost like a tutorial / promo, and it was like he's like, a lot of people will talk trash about digital, but it's like, if you can't draw a horse on a piece of paper, you can't draw it on this thing either. You know, like digital isn't like, oh, well, I don't know how to draw, so I go digital. No, you need to know what you're doing. And it can be actually more difficult to learn because with your hands, it's a matter of eraser and pencil. You know, the pencil is a direct extension of your body at that point. Where digital, I mean, unless you have a super fine-tuned pencil, you're always off a little bit. The fact that you're not touching the surface, certain things you're used to texturing out with like pressure of a pencil point that you don't get digitally. So it's not as easy as it looks. It's pretty difficult.
I would even say even not just drawing, but the coloring, because I've been doing a lot of the coloring aspect, learning it, and I think it's pretty hard compared to, you know, I like coloring traditionally. Coloring digitally, yeah, no. it is, yeah, dude. That's why I got mad respect for you. Mad respect.
Dude, one-stop shop, Mr. Troy, Mr. Mahvel Torres. And real quick, we have P.S. Melter says, "Hail Sporkman, hail Wampool, and hail Bob." Dustful says up. Jack Iron says hi.
Hey!
Mecca and Star Villion are also in the chat, so.
Nice, we got the...
Yep.
Hey, Jack, you want a link? We'd love to have you in.
So Troy, while we're waiting here, so got a question for you. So did you find it harder to go from traditional art, you know, doing traditional art, you know, pen and pencil and paper, going to digitally?
Me personally, not really, because I had been coloring on Photoshop for a long time.
Okay.
Like for the longest time, I only was traditional. Fully traditional. Then I started getting the habit of my pencils and inks were traditional, and just to save money on, because I like to use Prisma markers. That's my preferred tools, but those can get really expensive.
Yeah.
And replacing a color mid-piece can be crucial if you can't find that color anywhere. And worse, like, let's say something dries in the middle of a big piece and you just get that end, like that really nasty, oily smudge. So I started coloring on Photoshop, bringing things in, and I didn't have like a tablet or anything. I had to use, so I got really good at using Photoshop. So when I finally sat down with my tablet, it was like, oh, dude, it was just a matter of learning the buttons and all the different functions, and then I just jumped right in, and I'm just getting better and better with it. Like, I'm just kind of picking up more and more techniques. They're updating Procreate all the time. So, you know, you can just not paying attention to one function for like a week, you can come back and it's completely changed into something even better. And I've been using a lot of the digital tools to help create pages, specific like perspective guides, grid guides, so I can get perfect straight lines in certain areas. Definitely cut and paste. If you know one specific thing in the scenery is going to be in several panels, draw it once big, cut and paste, and bring it down and use the different like size up tools to angle it and whatnot. God, does it make it? It makes it so easy that it feels like cheating. But if you give it to someone that doesn't know what they're doing, you know, it's like giving them a piece of paper and a pencil. They're still not going to do much.
Well, I will say this: I would still be looking at it like, okay, because I have the old school Wacom tablet where you're drawing here but looking here. It's like,
right. And that's another thing. Doing it on my tablet, I'm looking right at it, and I'm seeing myself draw something, and it's not too far from drawing in a notebook. And if anything, I'm spoiled because in real life, there's no back button. There's no cut and paste. Mm-hmm. There's no symmetry guide.
Well, we'll say Mecha Studio says check out Clip Studio Pro, and he also highly recommends Affinity Designer. So
I will. I'll check those out.
Yeah, I've been toying around with Clip Studio Pro. They actually have this new functionality. You remember the piece that Danku did for me of Natsumi in the battle outfit?
Yeah.
So I actually toyed around with they have this new AI coloring feature, and it actually did a decent job with it than me doing it myself.
I think I know what you're talking about, and if so, I'm definitely going to want a tutorial from you on that, because I have Clip Studio in my tablet, but I just don't use it because, you know what I mean? Like, it's easier for me to just use Procreate because I already know it so well, and that way I can like use that for producing. But I definitely want to start using Clip Studios. I've had a lot of people recommend it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. That's one of the reasons why I started trying to toy around with it, because Nerd had recommended to me. Same thing with Chris from to talk about Chris. God, my brain is just not functioning tonight. But yeah, I've had the same thing too. So I was just toying around with it for coloring. So it's kind of nice, it is a learning curve, I think, much more than I find than like Procreate and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I can believe it. Oh, and by the way, I kind of showed off your picture of the Brad Nemesis.
Which one?
The infamous pose.
One. Oh,
like I showed that off last night in the stream. I was like, Troy's at it again.
I honestly, the Into the Spider-Verse movie blew my mind. And it definitely rekindled my love of Spider-Man. And I don't want to spoil it if no one's seen it, but there's a certain part in the end where the torch is passed correctly.
Mm-hmm.
To the point you feel good in saying, okay, yeah, Miles is Spider-Man now.
Exactly. Like they fixed everything that was wrong with Miles Morales in my eyes with that movie.
Oh my God, that's the Miles I want. I mean, even to the point that it's like, I know that kid. I've hung out at that kid's house. We went to school together. I know that exact kid. I know his mom. His dad's funny. Like, it was so, like, the diversity was so well done and organic. It didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like shoehorned in. Like, you were like, yeah, no shit. This is a half black Puerto Rican kid from the Bronx.
Yeah.
We all know that kid. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
I thought it was well presented. One of my biggest gripes was, and I didn't think I'd feel this way, but I have to admit, I felt there wasn't enough Spider-Gwen. I was kind of left wanting a little bit more of her. I just liked their dynamic. I liked the way that they partnered them up. It was really cool. And now I'm obsessed with the Radical Spider Cyst, because that would be my Spider Sona.
I will say, like I said before, when you have something done good like that, like no one even cared about the Rule 63 Doc Ock. No one cared.
Nope.
It's like, you did it right. You caught us off guard. You made a joke about it. We were cool with it. We moved on. That's done proper. SJWs take note, especially since you have control of these properties in the comments.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Hey Troy, I'm gonna put in our chat on Twitter. I'm gonna put that link to Infinity so that way you can see it. That what Metro was talking about.
Okay.
But so 8,288 with 260 backers. How does that feel, Troy? How does that feel?
I gotta ask I'm not the person to ask. You'd be asking the community. They're the ones that did that. I just drew a book. This is everybody's win. This is getting back to the original message of everyone that gathered on Comics Twitter a long time ago. Good books exist. Just back them and they'll exist.
Yep.
You don't have to have drama with them. You don't have to have bickering with them. Just good books, good stories. You know, I hope to set a good example, everybody, of you don't have to be embroiled in drama to still be popular, relevant, and well received.
I can second that. I can second that. I mean,
You know,
Third.
like you said, your shitpost agenda.
Yeah. You know, I think sometimes.
you know, and
Go ahead, Troy.
well, no, I was just gonna say, but as far as the campaign success, I actually don't think it hasn't really hit me yet. It hasn't fully sunk in yet. It still feels like I'm looking at someone else's campaign, and I'm proud of them.
Nice. And what's up, Cody?
Howdy, folks. How's it going?
One of those. Need to. It's the return of Mr. Mahvel. We need you here too.
Oh yeah, well, I got a few, so I thought I'd come say hello, support my buddies
I appreciate
here,
it.
and shoot some shit. You know.
There's nothing better than shit for shooting.
Exactly. Or posting.
Posting as well. Although I've kind of backed off the shit posting until the campaign's over.
Smart move.
Very.
Sometimes my shit posts go really big.
I saw that.
And it's like I never know when one of those is gonna happen. Like I had no idea it would happen that way. I'm glad it did, but I had no idea that would be the outcome. And at this point, just talking with Josh, we both agreed that my shit post is best used towards the campaign, so that we get no bumps from people that would be salty about me.
So they're gonna be salty anyway. Just don't give them any extra reason to be salty.
Yeah, you don't want to give somebody the reason to be like, oh, you have a fucking Indiegogo right now, do you?
Be ashamed
that's
something
when you get your
happened to it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, nice Indiegogo. I'd be ashamed if I called and said you were a bigot. You know? But
Definitely.
Yeah. This whole.
It just is what it is.
Exactly. I'm glad though. You guys, what's the number at, Bob?
The number it is currently. Let me do a quick refresh. See if anyone else might have backed it. 8288 with 260 backers. 236% of 3,500 with 7 days left.
$500 till you blow me by, brother. I'm hoping to see that.
Oh man, really?
Yeah, I made $87.50.
Holy crap!
Yeah, dude. So ride it on home. Hell yeah.
I'm gonna. Oh, I'm Jack Irons famous. Let me fucking find out. Let me find out I'm Jack Irons famous, dude. That made my day if that's what you're telling me.
Yeah, you're about there.
Now I feel legit.
Yeah, dude. Hell,
You were already
got
legit.
Twice as much. You guys are nailing it. I'm hoping I can put up a good show this next time for myself.
Same here.
I'm happy.
Oh no, honestly,
love is out there. Oh,
honestly, Cody, this next time around, you're gonna kill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now people actually have gotten their hands on it. You know what I mean?
That's the hope.
Round,
that's the dream, and that's the thought, and that's the energy. But hell, if I know that's going to be the truth. But
and we all know.
We'll see.
It all, marketing, the time of year you do it. If there's any rival campaigns happening, and I shouldn't use rival, but simultaneous campaigns happening. Everything can get you, and
exactly.
It sucks worse when you yourself believe in that other campaign as well. So it's like there's a couple of campaigns running right now, and I'm like, oh, those are my friends. I hope they do awesome.
And may I say, a little rivalry can be good. A little rivalry can be good.
Great.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean, like, you can also use it to your advantage. Like, I'm sure some people have seen Juan's gonna be appearing in some Tim Lim stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Hell yeah.
Like,
and
that's how you know. That's how you know Juan has made it.
I mean, technically, he debuted in a Tim book. His first official in print appearance on a page was Black Ops 2. There's a copy of Hwampool on a desk in the North Korean camp. They apparently like Hwampool a lot.
Nice.
It's the only state-approved comic book in North Korea. You're really cornering that market.
Exactly. See, Troy has super secret.
Rodman brought it with him.
Well, no, Troy had super secret superpowers of teleportation. He gets teleported over to fucking North Korea. Looked at Kim Jong Un, was like, slapped his fat ass. Look, bitch, this is the comic you're gonna make your people read. Threw Hwampool down and dipped. After slapping him again for good measure. Just to make sure he drilled that point home.
It was far more badass of an interaction, but in the opposite direction. I got a ring on a doorbell. I opened up the door, and it was a bunch of like North Korean bodyguards, and they like moved to the side, and Kim Jong walked through, sat down, and explained to me that I was going to finish this book immediately because they were waiting to see the sequel, and they did not want to wait any longer.
You got to listen too.
And that's when I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Okay, all right. Now I'm gonna, all right. I'll get down issue 2 right away."
And that's the origin of the campaign, folks. Exclusive. You're not gonna hear that else. If it comes up again, of course, we'll have to deny it. And you know,
it was only right here, right now. You were privy to it. Congratulations. I was actually commissioned by Kim Jong Un. I asked him if he could. I told him I'd do it on one condition. I said, just let Trump have his way and make it look like he beat you. And he was like, oh, all right. And now we have peace talks, and Trump thinks it's because of him, but it's actually because of me.
Exactly.
It's the army of Juan bringing peace to the world, as is its intention.
I let Trump credit because the poor guy needs some kind of victories here and there. I feel
he just got a major victory though yesterday. I'm sorry, Rachel Maddow half crying on air. No more indictment.
No, dude. All they're gonna do is move the goalpost. That's all. It's not over.
Still funny though. It's still funny.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious only because they have no shame in how stupid they fucking looked for 2 years now. I mean, they have absolutely no shame in themselves, and to me, that's funny. Because I would not do interviews for a while. Right. Like, if I was Rachel Maddow, I'd be like, all right, I'm cashing in vacation time. I need to get the fuck away from here. I'm going to Acapulco, and I'm going to bone some guy named fucking Rodrigo.
I don't think her wife would like that.
No, she's going to be there, too.
So would that be Maddow's wife's boyfriend?
You know, like they're gonna go down. This is gonna be a couples thing. They're never gonna tell anybody because they don't want to admit that they got the D, but they're gonna go down and get the power D. Yep, it's gonna be Enrique, Rodrigo, Julio, Juan.
Hey, it's one of those. Look. It's for the cause of diversity. I'm just saying they're helping out the cause of diversity.
If they don't do it, they're racist.
That's true too, and sexist.
Exactly.
Because those 3 guys are gonna identify as non-binary. They're not actually men.
Exactly. They're like, this is a woman's dick you're sucking. Thank you.
No, it's even worse. This is a non-cock. This isn't even a dick. So you can't be afraid of it. You can't discriminate it because this isn't actually a penis at all. Some men have something here that isn't a penis because I'm non-binary. Only men have penises. Mm-hmm. And some women. Only women and men have penises, and I'm clearly neither. Oh my God, you could destroy someone with intersectionality.
Oh, you really can. And the thing is, it's like, First off, Mecha Studios is like muties, damn muties. And but no, intersectionality is pretty much just the ability to move the goalpost in any direction you need to move it, in the hopes of winning any argument you can by just frustrating.
Oh, seriously. I had somebody play the disabled trans card at me very recently, and I was like, I'm just gonna mute you because it's done. You know, like, all right, this isn't even gonna go anywhere because you just said that, and there, that's it. You jumped the shark.
It's not jumping the shark if you don't come down.
I'm telling you, dude, they have half of America has collectively jumped the fucking shark, and I have no idea how they have not noticed.
I can tell you how.
I talk about it. I talk about this kind of thing in my book, Pool, which currently has an Indiegogo campaign going on. It's doing pretty good if you check it out. There's lots of good stuff. There's t-shirts, there's trading cards, there's posters, there's pinups. Some by Luigi, the artist behind Rags, and some by Miss Sashi herself. Those trading cards were hand-drawn by me, digitally.
Get yourself one hell of a book, folks.
Damn it, there you go. It's your Jack endorsement.
And it's got Spork endorsement, too.
And Spork. Sometimes you got to ask yourself, should I back the campaign? And then remember, Jack Arians would.
Listen here, America. If you don't go over to ICP, if you don't back.
Scott did.
If you do not back Pool, Journey of the Wand issue 2, I will personally show up at your house and slap your reticuloid ass. I will take your credit card, and I will force your hand to order that book, to back that book, to keep the soy out of comic books, and to handle the reticuloids their own asses. Back to you, Troy.
Thanks,
Science
Bob.
Wizard Comics does not endorse violence of any kind, but if
we do not
do it on your own thing, you know, nothing we could have done about it.
Science Wizard does not endorse any kind of violence. Although, if we see a video of yours on WorldStar, more than likely, I will retweet it.
You'll find it hilarious. It's like the Team 4-Star bit where it's, I think it was Goku's brother slapping Gohan's. It's like, pause. We at Team 4-Star do not condone child violence. We do, however, find it hilarious.
Because, I ain't gonna lie, there's a lot of times that videos are passed around on Twitter of like some like ill hood altercation, and everybody's like shocked, and they're like, nobody's helping, and they're just filming. I'm like, bro, that's the hood. Like, what are you talking about? Like this isn't shocking. I said, I've seen this all the time. This is going on all the time. I find stuff like that funny. Because you got to remember, the people involved put themselves there. It's usually not someone getting attacked. Like, in the hood, you don't get attacked for nothing. You probably did something first. Or you talked enough shit that the person had no choice but to come and address your blatant disrespect, dog. You know what I mean? You overstep boundaries verbally. We now must discuss this physically.
Hey, what's up, Dad? What's up, Dad? You want to do this? You want to do stuff? You want to do this? Come on, let's go. Let's go, dog. Let's go.
Basically, except at that point, you better hope that you're ready for a fight because, you know, like at least around here, you're not going to get to say something like that for long before you're punched. You know, like even I would have to punch you at that point.
Dude, you live in Little Ireland. Believe me, I know. I'm just saying.
You know?
I know.
So it's fun to see. It's fun to see how different people around the country react to things. Because I don't know, I'll see those videos and I'm like, I'll sit there with the owner of the shop some mornings when it's dead, and we'll just see these videos and like roll around on the floor laughing at them.
I will say this though, you know who's never afraid of a fight and will always win? Jack Iron.
That's true.
That's pretty damn true. It would depend if the fight is worth the fight, though. That's the question. But yeah, on the ignorance of mankind, it'll always be boundless, and so will its apathy. I'm just hoping sometime it's gonna reach that balance again where it's more looking out for each other than looking out to see how we can fuck each other over. Who knows?
It's going to take
Someday.
a huge shift in culture. It's only going to start by admitting that there's something wrong with the culture. But until everybody like comes collectively and says, "Hey, so this really isn't working out," unfortunately, I feel like it's going to be one of those vicious circles that I've only become desensitized to because I've seen happen for so long now.
Oh yeah, that's how it goes. And part of the culture that you would have to change is the fact of it grandiozes the fact that it doesn't change. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of it's self-defeat. It's self-perpetuating. So you can't really do much there. But again, new generations, new times, and every day is different. So who the hell knows down the line?
I have you know, by the power of one, it will be stopped.
Juan and Kim Jong-un.
No, I am working on a series, spin-off from Juan, where I kind of tackle issues of the inner city, and that one's not going to be a comedy. So
need balance.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try and do my part and address some of the things I've seen, but not preachy. Through a lot of action and kicking ass.
Hey,
right on. I'm looking.
And that would be with Teddy Bear.
Oh, okay, cool. Right on.
Yeah. It's going to be following the adventures of Teddy Bears, aka the gang member that didn't get the shit kicked out of him by Badger Bitch.
Oh shit! It's Badger Bitch! And
yes.
I gotta ask. Did you purposely make that shot look like Trigglypuff? I have to ask.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, no, that was on purpose. That was, I wanted to inject meme in there for the sake of the visual comedy, so that people would instantly in their head see the "Get your hate speech off my planet!" Like, I wanted people to get that visual scene in their head. So yeah, I did. That is on purpose. That's why I say you can put a meme into a comic. You just have to do it correctly. Like, I didn't do it for the sake of moving dialogue. I did it for the sake of kind of imprinting a visual animation in your head.
All right.
And hopefully it works.
Used a meme like a meme.
Yeah, exactly.
My question is, has anyone else noticed it?
What?
The fact that was supposed to be Trigglypuff.
Oh yeah, a lot of people have. A lot of people pointed it out. I mean, even if you look at the small caption at the bottom of the page, I admit that it's an old meme that I'm using.
Okay, I honestly didn't see the caption. I just saw the bit, and I just didn't even register until just now when you mentioned Badger Bitch, and I got thinking about that scene where she busts in. It's like, wait a second, that's fucking Trigglypuff.
My favorite that's one of my favorite pages in the book. I think there's only a couple pages that I like better, but that one was so much fun to do. I love drawing Badger Bitch. I really love drawing Badger Bitch. She's really fun to draw. If you've never drawn her, go draw Badger Bitch, because she's really fun. She's got a lot of roles. She's super huge and she's super angry. If you look at the art for her trading card, her fun fact is she's always triggered. So when she goes into a situation, she was already triggered, bruh. You're just going to add to it.
Exactly. With your cis white male bullshit, just breathing, using up all the people of color's air.
All I'm going to say about Badger Bitch and how she identifies a problem is going to be through a mental algorithm based off intersectionality. And that's where I'll leave that.
Nice. Nice.
So you know what I mean? When Badger Bitch enters a situation, she takes certain criteria based off of race, gender, sex, orientation, and then an algorithm tells her who it is she's going to be.
Nice.
And that's how Badger Bitch decides her victim. I should say that's how Badger Bitch assesses how to save the day. Because technically this is a superhero.
Yeah. But P.S. Melter says, rolls for Xmas, rolls for Thanksgiving, rolls for afternoon. And then he's like, butter my biscuits.
And I'm, oh man, you guys are going to enjoy, I think you're going to enjoy where I take Badger Bitch in part 2. I think you're really going to enjoy it.
Nice.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm a bigger Badger Babe fan though with that pinup saw she did. Hot damn.
Oh God. I mean,
damn.
From the minute we came up with the discussion, from the first discussion of possible perks, I was like, Sashi pinup. Sashi pinup. Period.
Definitely. Miss
Period.
knows how to draw. I'm just saying.
It was down to either Badger Babe or Radnem, and I said to myself, you know, I'd really think that Badger Babe is objectively sexier than Radnem.
I agree
physically.
on that point wholeheartedly.
I gotta disagree. Radnem, man. Radnem's like,
Hey, girl, her brain is always sexy.
Exactly. Like it.
Okay, all right. Let me rephrase. The Badger Babe has a better ability to pose sexy than Radnem.
There you go.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Radnem shows her feet to the camera and takes pictures.
Because, you know, for those guys who, like yourself, who are into feet, and for guys like me to look at you like you're horrible monsters.
Well, I mean, spoilers on the character, but it's just one of her sources of income.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to get undressed. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to meet up with anybody. You send out a personalized video and you charge them $50, and they put it immediately into an account, and then you pay taxes.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Profit. I mean, she has a variety of things she does to generate income, but that's just one of the many things she does, including making greeting cards.
What do you mean feeding cards?
I'll just reset it.
Like greeting cards, like, you know, generic, oh, hey, I hope you feel better. She just draws a graphic and does something nice, and yeah, you know.
Could also do feeding cards, though.
Word. No, my whole point is the fact that, quite frankly, I don't understand the feet thing. But then again, I don't understand why people go to amusement parks either.
You know, I don't do it for people to understand it or to join in. I just do it because I like it. And I don't know, my motto has always been to each their own, and it's nobody's business, really.
I can't forget it.
I just like to do it because I like to tease people, and I see that it gets a fun reaction out of everybody.
So,
like, I like to bother people. To me, I find it hilarious that it bothers people. If it didn't bother anybody, I probably would have never mentioned it.
Right. I can't argue that. And we also have Slick in the call.
How you guys doing?
Hey, Slick.
Good.
It's really starting to be like classic meeting of the minds.
Truly is.
The only person we're missing now is
Dollar
Ben.
He's got the doctors getting some medical help.
Yes.
Yeah, heard about his back.
Yeah.
And that comic gal.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to say that?
Yeah, we miss her.
I was trying to not bring down the chat.
Now you made me sad.
Sorry,
Oh,
sorry. I figured one of y'all have been in contact with her.
No, none of us. She doesn't answer.
Oh, wow. She disappeared. All right. Time to round up a search party. We got to do this, folks. Who lives in Texas?
I don't think anyone does in here.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near there.
Same here. Josh, you're probably the closest.
Damn it.
Personally, I don't think I would survive the Texas weather being from New England.
No, dude. Believe me, I'm from Germany, and this heat still, like, 20 years later, the heat still kills me. I'm just like, oh, God, please.
Because I can do tops, I can do 90-degree weather. Because it doesn't really get hotter than that around here, and when it does, it kind of sucks. But that's because it's really humid because of the ocean right next to it.
Very true. But Chuck, I'm gonna need you to take over for a minute. I'm kind of
okay.
You saw the sad panda there. You saw the sad panda.
Sad panda. Sad panda. That's where I was going. I was going to get the Coke. Needed that today because I'm doing that stuff for schoolwork, and it's a killer. All right. So so let's get back to some wand pulls. So Slick, any words of encouragement for Mr. Mahvel here?
Well, all the encouragement in the world. He's doing a great job there. I'm proud of him. I want him to get to 5 figures. That would be awesome. And then maybe even further. Well, we'll see. But I think they can get it to 5 figures, and that would be an accomplishment for what the goal that they already set initially. And they've moved up and got some perks and things, some stretch goals. And Troy's doing stuff for me too, so I appreciate what he's doing on my book.
Yeah. And I love that you guys are really bringing the thunder. I mean, we let out there with Jack, and then, Ferryman, and, of course we got, Rags doing really well. Of course we didn't make the first time for our crowdfunding, and then Slick followed up, slamming it out of the park. And then, Juan slamming it out of the park. And now we got Ferryman 2 coming out. We got Sporkman coming out. Man, I tell you, and then we got Mythoverse, so we're really wanting to hit the park out.
I'm really hyped for Mythoverse.
Yep.
I'm not gonna fucking lie at all.
Good, I am too.
Like super hype.
Yep. We have a lot of ideas for the Kickstarter, the perks, and the stretch goals.
When are you starting?
We're starting on April 5th.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's about a week after mine.
Yeah, we'll let you have your first week.
Well, we're on 2 different platforms too.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I think with you being on, I think one of the things is, and this is one reason why I think people are saying I'm not going to back people on Kickstarter. I think that's stupid. I think they both serve purpose. Everybody should be backing no matter where the crowdfunding has come from, because it works best for whoever the person who is doing the campaign. For me, I like the fact that, that people are charged right away, and, it's guaranteed money. It's not, somebody doesn't back the project, they don't have the money. You know what I mean? If the campaign fails, you don't get it. And if somebody doesn't have their money in their credit card, you don't get that money. So, and I get some people have platform loyalty. So I get that. So what we need.
Oh, yeah, no.
Go ahead.
I agree. A diversity of platforms to reach audiences is always a benefit. There's almost never a downside. And with Kickstarter, I'm with you too there, Spork. I have an issue with them not charging until the end of the campaign. So all your early legwork could be for naught at the end. It's not guaranteed, of course, but there's always a risk. You're probably going to lose. Say you get 200 backers, you're probably going to lose up to 10. And that could hurt depending on the price. It's like $250 just gone or whatever, and that's no bueno. But Kickstarter also has this inbuilt track record, and all these this larger community that's been there. And I see I get people following me on Kickstarter all the time, and of course I'm thinking because they want me to put my book up there, but also just the fact is I watch, and they back 1, 2, 3 books a week, 4 books a week on Kickstarter. These people, and it's just because that's been their habit for the last decade or whatever, and so you don't want to ignore that audience either.
Exactly.
So, it's hard. It's hard to balance. I've got an idea for how I want to handle my campaign come this summer. I'm going to start on Indiegogo for my platform loyalists, but I think I might do a low goal kind of a pop-up market on Kickstarter afterwards.
That's actually what we yeah. You know what, we got that same idea. We were talking with you know, Matt and Mike about that, and they're really on board with that too. You know, once we take care of, you know, our Indiegogo backers, we then are going to run a small campaign for the Kickstarter backers. So, hey, Josh wants to know if you want him to come on.
Oh, Josh, you're getting the link. Give me a sec. Sorry that took so long ahead of it. But I was like last cup, so I had to make a pun.
Not a problem. But you know, Jack, you're right. I think really, I think I would love to see. I would even love to see like Wanpool go do a run over there, you know, to see what you can do there, because I think it would do really well on Kickstarter too.
Yeah, your main idea would be to at least make the funds to make that extra effort worth it. Another print or another. You could even do a Kickstarter variant cover and get extra people who want to collect all of Wanpool or all of Jack or all of Sport.
I don't know about variant covers. I'm not too big on variant.
Yeah, no. Hey, neither am I. That's I've seen what it's done with rags. But nonetheless, it's an idea to get multiple sales from your fan base if they want to give you that money. My biggest issue since the end of my campaign is I've had nowhere directly to have people put their funds for a long time before I even had the digital. I had nowhere really to direct. Wow. I had merch and kind of things, but people want the comic. People want the physical comic in particular. Mm-hmm. So that's been something I've been kind of dealing with. And I'd like I would like to avoid that issue with the next campaign. And so I think one of the ways would be to diversify platforms and see what your real audience reach is.
May I interject on this particular point?
Hey,
go for it.
Hey, how you doing, fellas? I'm rocking that Wanpool swag that you can get by backing the campaign at either our T-shirt or our everything bundle package. You know, it's looking fly. I get all the ladies just can't stop staring at me. I went out to the Walmart today. And especially the old ladies, they just couldn't take their eyes off of my shirt for some reason.
They must have been curious about that.
I actually couldn't even stop. Like I couldn't even keep myself from laughing, seeing that, because like every time I would walk by an old lady, they'd be like looking at my shirt and with like this outraged look on their faces, and I'm just like,
walking
oh boy,
I love it.
Was this the right choice for a design for Wanpool T-shirt?
Dude,
oh my god, yes.
It really
that random shirt. There was never another idea in my head for a T-shirt. Like, why not give out the Radnam T-shirt? Yeah, I mean, that's
absolutely. I mean, that was my first thought too. When we first started talking about what we were going to do for it, I wanted the Radnam shirt. Like as soon as I saw the Radnam shirt when you made that picture initially, that I wanted it, and I'm sure there's other people, because like that's the thing is even though I'm publishing Wanpool, I'm also probably one of its biggest fans.
I think everyone in here is a fan of Wanpool. Just saying.
I mean, it's hard not to be. He's such a fun, delightful character, you know.
Well, I'm a fan of everybody in here too, so it's mutual. It's a mutual fan base.
Absolutely. But getting back to my the point that you brought up with the different platforms and diversifying and whatnot, you know, I'm right there with you, and I think in particular Blake Northcott actually had the right idea, where she would kind of use the one platform and kind of get the funds she needs to get it printed, and then afterwards kind of hit up the other platform to offer it to the people that are loyal to that platform. Because personally, I don't see any reason whatsoever to prevent somebody who is platform loyal from getting the book. It's kind of like the whole video game situation with the exclusives to the different stores, because then you might only have access to one store as a customer, and but there's different exclusives for each of them. So you don't want to be like, oh, well, I want that, but I can't get it because I'm not on that platform. Give it to everybody. The whole point of this is getting the book into people's hands. It's not about like some ideological purity. It's about making a product and getting that product to the people who want it.
Wait,
That's what I'm about.
You mean proper capitalism?
Oh, whoopsie! Did I let my capitalistic self
ways show through?
Yes.
What, an entrepreneur is pro-capitalism? That's crazy.
Vulgar dash. But that's where I'm at.
Josh, I had the same mentality. It's I look at it. To me, I don't care if you're CG, you're non-CG, you're gay, lesbian, straight, whatever. I want everybody to have Sporkman, and I want everybody to have fun with Sporkman. And I don't get that mentality.
I don't either.
I don't want the Coast Guard.
Well, okay, we all don't want the Coast Guard. We will agree there.
Brian's not in the
pool, actually. I don't think I want them.
Brian's
they can hear about it from someone else.
Brian's not in the call. We don't need to have that rivalry go.
Just saying.
Oh, there will always be that rivalry because I come from a family of armies.
And from the point of view of someone who's part of the welders union, fuck pipers. I don't like pipers. I like welders.
Seriously.
Fuck people that lay pipes. No pipers. I like welders.
Pipers.
Pro weld.
No pipers. Absolutely. Oh man, you're dropping some hints there.
Some lore.
Ooh-wee. You just can't help yourself, can you?
I'm like that.
So how y'all been? It's been a while since we've been on the old meeting of the minds train here.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is this is slowly becoming classic meeting of the minds.
Slowly but surely.
It's like
classic meeting of the minds was some of the best times, man. No regrets at all.
Right? Back before drama erupted in CG, when we were just all here showing good comics.
Yep.
Like we're doing now.
That's how you do.
Still doing.
Exactly. Kenneth Brown says, looks like the band's back together.
Hey, speaking of the band being back together, the band that worked on one of those beautiful Jack Irons pinups is back together working on a pinup for the Wampool campaign too. Just sent off some sketches to the penciler, and hopefully he gets them soon, and we'll get started.
You guys doing the same roles?
Yep, same roles.
Oh, right on. Cool. Okay. Cool.
Is that Carl?
Bruce Patnod?
No, Carl's doing his own.
Bruce Patnod did pencils on the one that for Jack that they're talking about, and then Vince Rush, my incredibly talented letterer for Jack, did the inks, and our amazing animator friend right here did some amazing coloring and texture work. So it's just such a good piece, and I am so stoked to see what Bruce does with Wadpool.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be. It's not. It might not be.
Or whatever it is.
Wadpool.
Whatever it is. Does four.
Just an update on Dala, just so everybody who knows. Dala bin reviews.
Yes.
They aren't sure what's wrong with my back. Following up with a specialist this week. Thanks for the kind words, everyone. Everybody who knows Dala, please go out and give him some love.
Yes.
What's going on?
Absolutely.
Sudden back pains. Back pains, and he doesn't know what's causing it. Went to the doctor today. They don't know what's causing it.
Yeah, he fell off a makeup truck on a film, and he's had trouble ever since. And there's probably complications right now. So everybody send good vibes and prayers, and if you can, drop him a line, let him know we love him.
Yeah.
We miss Dollar and Cole.
Give him a big old internet bear hug, folks.
Exactly. Because, you got to show love to those who have pushed hard for everybody to succeed. Has never picked a side and always been like just there for just there to help the shitpost agenda. Let's just be real about it.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Post.
Oh, and Jack Irons just crossed 3,000 followers. 3,001.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, that was today. I've been hacking at it for months. It would go up to 65, 2965, and then back down to 30, and then I get to 80, and then go back down to 50. You know how it goes. So that was nice for sure. Under the year mark too for the campaign, so that was kind of neat. So it means I'm at least able to keep some steam. So I'm happy about that.
You know what's funny is I've actually gone up quite a bit with just managing the Wampool campaign, which is kind of crazy because I'm not even on like any creative. I'm not even on it in like a creative capacity at all. So I'm up to like 1,044 or something like that, which is
nice.
Yeah, I'm up to 1,075. That little tug with the WC got me a little boost.
Oh really? So
yeah.
So fighting with the WC actually gained you followers instead of losing them. It's almost like they have.
It's almost like they're not popular.
Right.
Well, I've been seeing some stuff lately that I don't approve of. They've been going after some people who have been really long time Comicsgate and project supporters in general, like Bean, who's always been like such a sweetheart. So I don't approve of that, you know. And you just don't do it. Just don't do it. Come on, guys, be better.
Well, it's part of the reason why I still maintain my link with Bro, being able to keep in contact with him, following him, and I think he still follows me. If in the off chance these guys finally get it through their thick skull that just arguing with the CG aligned is just pointless because we get treated the same way as they treat the anti-CGers treat the regular CGers. We all get lumped into the same group regardless, so why argue with us? And also, they fail to take into account that they were the ones who pushed a lot of us into CG aligned out of CG. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, I there are some people within War Campaign who I like, some that I don't. But like at the end of the day, like you got to treat everybody as individuals. I think
that's my line every goddamn time. I use that hashtag #BeIndie because of it. It's just it gets so annoying that people want to look at these labels and fight these labels, and they don't care anybody flying them.
Yeah,
I care about the person. I don't care what color, gender, ideology. As long as you're talking to me with respect and about something we both can communicate against, communicate with, then I'm gonna come out of it a better person, and so is the other person out of just having a better interaction. So why not be open?
Take over real quick, please. Take over real quick.
Yep, go ahead. We're good. Good,
yeah, that's all. So that's always since I got here and started putting out my comic. That's been my thing. I love everybody when they don't come at me as a mob that none of them are truly represented by. They are represented by themselves, and that's who I want to interact with. And so when they treat me like I would be part of some other label, and thank goodness I haven't gotten that often. I've had 2 encounters I wasn't a fan of, but 2 in a year. So I think I'm doing some things right. But nonetheless, it's just I think most everybody agrees that dealing with each other on individuality is better, but a lot of people forget it because it feels good to dunk, and especially when you're not paying attention to or give no care to who you're dunking on as a person.
Right. Yeah, you know, I find that like there's so much creativity and there's so much good nature and goodwill within the community that if you just even if you just ignore it, like if someone starts dunking on you, you just ignore them, or if you just block them or mute them and just move on with your day, there's so much positivity to be had. Yep. But it's when you give in to that troll-like behavior and you give them the exact reaction that you want, because some of these people genuinely are just looking for drama. Don't focus on the drama. Just focus on doing something fun, doing something good, doing something creative. And that's what we've been doing at Science Wizard Comics. That's what we've been doing, with Wampool and the Wampool campaign. We've been having a ton of fun with the Wampool campaign, doing the Wansonas, the Army of Wan, I'm working on one right now. I've got 3 more that I got to finish up before I'm all done with them. But like, it's a lot of fun, man. You know,
Exactly.
Just focus
that
on the
energy.
creative.
That energy that's put out when we do
It's
this
there.
is what gets people funded. It's what gets people enjoying. It's what builds fan bases. And the fact that you are anti that in any way, that you want to go out and make the environment hostile, I don't. It's not healthy. It's the exact thing that's killing everything that we love about the industry. The exact same thing. And there are people, and many more people, who are just out there putting out their lovely work. I come across an artist on Twitter with like 5-6 followers almost every day that is killer, outrageous, and I do my best to put that out there because that's what I'm here for. I want to see beautiful things in life. I want to create beauty, and I want to make wonder and enchant folks. I want to put.
You want to make wonder.
Exactly.
You know, I can't resist.
Day.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta. I'd be disappointed if you didn't. In fact, I have been disappointed when you didn't.
Right.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to ask Josh. I need to know where should I send the money for my one Sona?
Store's closed, son.
Oh, no more. Oh man.
And I got to get focused on other stuff. I got a huge list of things to do.
Okay.
And hey, Chuck.
Yes, sir.
Hit me up. I'll squeeze you in real quick.
Okay.
I love you.
There you go. I would, but managerial duties are abound.
Oh, I get you, bro. I get you. I got a week left till my campaign, and I'm running around. I was like talking with Ginger Foxy earlier today. I'm like, hey, can you get me another colored page for the campaign? And trying to work with Brad getting the cover done. By the way, I don't know. I showed you guys that cover last night. Oh, it's coming out beautiful.
It looks dope, man. That's gonna be a unit seller. That looks dope.
Yeah, I have to thank everybody here that was in that chat. I mean, because if it wasn't listening to you guys, I really think without that cover, we really would not be hitting where I think we're going to hit, because I think that cover is going to be off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, you believe in yourself, right? Believe in your product, and constantly work to make it better. I mean, that's what we do. That's what we push you and everyone else to do, and you do it. You do it, and I'm looking forward to the relaunch of Sportman. You know, I'll be there day one. You know it.
Yeah, so we have basically that's the whole thing. We should tweet the basically he says saying that he basically get dollar bins. I had to collect my words there. Sorry, but get dollar bins on with Wicked as an official reviewer.
Oh, I would agree with that 100%. Definitely.
How does that work?
Yeah,
official reviewer.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's my thing. So official, I wouldn't use that term. An attached reviewer or an independent that they could publish. Yes,
trusted reviewer.
That's very much. Yeah, but it's official. That's just like it's just PR. It would just be PR.
Yeah, you got a point.
No, but I would definitely support that 100% of him being.
Yeah. Wicked was talking about putting out a quarterly magazine, and so for instance, an article in there or something in that, I'm sure it would be worth a consideration if both of those parties are up for it. So yeah, I don't know. There's lots of possibilities. I love Dollar, and of course I would love if we could make his day better.
One of the things I would love to do is start having like maybe on the official Science Wizard Comics website have like links to trusted reviewers as well. You know, people that I know I can trust to give their honest opinion. And you know what, like for good or bad too. You know, like if we make a product and like someone doesn't like it, you know, I don't want to be like Marvel and just say, oh, if you don't like our product, we're not gonna let you review it anymore, or we're going to silence you, because like Jesus Christ, that is scary authoritarian, dude.
Well, it's like take for instance all the various good reviews that critics gave the Star Trek Discovery, and then you find out all of them are either working for publications that are owned by CBS or it's a paid review by CBS.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, as somebody who tried to watch Discovery, I watched the first 4-ish episodes, and like that, if anybody that says that show is good, I will instantly and forever regard them as an untrusted source because that show was fucking trash. I'm not even a diehard Star Trek fan, and like even I can tell like there's so much about this that is just antithetical to the Star Trek brand.
And
yeah,
yet,
I'm a hardcore Star Trek fan.
And yet Jack loves it. I mean, not Jack loves, Zach loves it. So that's an indicator that it's really shitty.
He really has bad taste sometimes.
He does. Movies and TVs. Comics, yes. Movies and TVs, 100%.
It's so weird that he's able to spot all the it's so weird. He's able to spot everything in comics, like all of what's good and bad, and he's really accurate with his observations. But then with movies and TV, it's like he just goes into dum-dum mode. Like it's like, oh, I see pretty lights, oh, explosions, oh, it's loud, it's noisy, it's pretty, I like it. You know. That's what I get from him when he starts to review a movie or something. Love the guy, but like,
he liked the Last Jedi. He liked the Last Jedi. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, come on!
No,
yes,
seriously. He came out the gate going, "Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it quite a bit." I'm like,
oh, dude, I almost walked out of that movie.
I don't know if I like him anymore.
I don't know if I blame you.
Like whoa, that's huge news. He liked it? Oh no.
Jack loves.
There's no accounting for bad taste.
And it's okay to like bad things as long as you admit you have bad taste.
Oh yeah,
that's why everyone knows. If you go, I thought it was a good movie. Everyone knows to ignore that is probably a dumpster fire.
I loved Aquaman, and it is fucking terrible. It's such a dumb, stupid movie, but I enjoyed it. It was fun.
So I loved it.
It was
too.
fun.
Yeah, it wasn't smart. It was just a lot of fun. So
it was bad. Like even my friend Matt, he loves Batman v Superman, but he agrees with every point that I will ever put across about that movie, about why it's so terrible. I'm like, it's so terrible because of this. He's like, yeah, you're right, but I like it, and I respect that.
I will be the first one to say, I'll admit, I'm a BBS apologizer. The director's cut is amazing, but you know, that I can admit that the movie has a lot of flaws.
Literally all the flaws. Literally all the flaws. There's not one decision in that movie that was not the wrong decision. On the other hand, it was also the wrong decision.
Batman's fight scene.
Yeah, you're wrong. But on the other hand, then we've got something like Into the Spider-Verse, which made all of the right decisions.
You finally seen it?
I literally just finished watching it like 20 minutes ago.
That movie, that is the shit.
It is the shit. I'm like geeking out, dude. But I'm like amazed too. Like, how did they get everything right? The people making it are such regressive fucking losers. And you can tell when you watch the behind-the-scenes stuff, because I tried to watch one of the behind-the-scenes featurettes, and holy shit, it is just a fucking buzzword tsunami. I was just like, I watched the movie, and I'm like, this is amazing! And then I watched the special features, and I got mad. I got mad watching the special features. So I'm like, you got it all right in the movie. How are you getting it so wrong when you're just talking about it? You guys made the movie. How are you so wrong about the movie that you made?
I watched a video all about how that movie fixed Miles Morales as a character. And
you watched the movie all about how your life got turned upside down.
Yes. No.
Sorry.
No. They were basically talking about the reason why is because of Spider-Man: Homecoming. They took everything that was Miles Morales's, which like the Asian friend thing, and basically made it Peters. Whereas, mind you, Miles Morales was already, like I've stated time and again, palette swap Ben Reilly, palette swap Peter Parker. He wasn't his own character in a lot of ways, and he, let's be honest, what do we need another Ben Reilly? I'm just saying. Making him Hispanic and black does not change the fact that he's just another Ben Reilly. And like I said, oh my God, the fact that they killed the Ben Reilly Spider-Man in that movie, I was like, I fucking hate Ben Reilly.
I love Ben Reilly. I've always liked Ben Reilly.
Dude, the best part about Into the Spider-Verse, once again, is the fact that, one, the Peter Parker we spend the movie with is the real Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. And you know this because in his world, there's an ad for Coca-Cola.
Yep.
In every other world, it's a variation. So that is the real Peter. He's been beaten the shit out of. He's been dragged through even the opening sequence, how he slammed into everything, was a perfect analogy for what Marvel has done to him in the years. He was a perfect translation of the metaphor of the current Spider-Man. And in the very end, he comfortably passed the torch.
Right.
In a way that you could say, wow, Miles is Spider-Man now. Why?
Absolutely.
Because Peter signed off.
Yes.
Because Peter personally said, all right, good job, kid. You got this.
But also,
like, good shit.
Yeah, but also, like, one of the things that I thought was really impressive about the film is that they introduced all these different spider characters, and they all got their time to shine, even though it was, like, really packed. Like, they had a lot of stuff that they were fitting into this movie, and they all got a little bit of time to shine, but also they were interesting, and you wanted to know more about them. If they did a solitary movie based on any single one of those spider people that they introduced in this movie, Noir, Penny Parker, Spider-Gwen, or even if they did the same style of film with like the classic Peter Parker Spider-Man, like following this movie, because like that was heartbreaking. Like that moment at the end there where he like finally gets the courage to like walk up to Mary Jane with like flowers and be like, "Baby, let's try again." Like I was like, I want to know what happens. Yeah, next. Do they try again? Like I'm invested in all of them. The Noir Spider-Man where he takes back the Rubik's Cube to his world. And I'm just like, I want to know how that's gonna go. You know, Penny Parker and
awesome.
The robot gets smashed, but she's still got her little psychic spider friend, and I'm just like, I want to know more. I want to know more about all these characters. Like, please tell me more.
Definitely, and not to mention is it's just the little things that movie did. Like I said, they made Miles Morales his own character. And on top of that, and it's like for the first time, I really found myself liking Miles Morales. Like I said, liking him.
I loved Miles Morales from
Miles
the very first,
bro.
His very
first
Miles
was
first scene told me. Yeah, it was.
A person. You know what I mean? They made him a person and not a color. Absolutely. You know, like Miles is a person. Like dude, it was a great movie. And honestly.
So
comic book movies should be more in that style, bro. Like, why wasting money when you can draw it better?
Definitely. 1 second, Derby.
Well, you can also, the other thing too is there's a lot more you could do with that animation. I don't know if you guys have watched the Death of Superman and Reign of Superman yet. There's things you can do with animation that you can't do with live action. And I think that's really what should be doing. But the downside is most people will not go see an animation movie, unless it's Disney. That's the downside, But
that's a cultural thing that we need to kind of get over, essentially, because our culture in particular, we seem to have this mindset that animation is just for kids, and it's not the case, right? There's so many different things that you can do with animation. You look at something like with Perfect Blue or Blood or
Ghost in the Shell.
Those are like dark. Ghost in the Shell. Like these are like dark, or they're intelligent, or they're thought provoking, and animation can do whatever you want it to do. You can tell whatever story you want it to tell. But I don't know, like for some reason, our culture just seems to be stuck in this cartoons are for kids thing. Even though it's proven so many times over and over and over again that it's not just for kids, that it is a genuine art form for telling stories, any story.
Hey,
Man,
guys,
I'm like
I got
totally.
I got to get back to work, but it has been a pleasure.
Oh, we're gonna have to get together later just to talk about Into the Spider-Verse more, man, because I know you and me gotta nerd out some.
Oh, we're gonna geek. We're gonna geek, bro. I've been having a conversation with somebody about this, bro.
It's gonna be old school, man.
I want you caught everything I did, and I want to hear everything you caught that I didn't.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. You know what? Damn, how long do you think it'll take Bob to come back? I don't want to dip out without saying peace.
Troy.
He's right back.
Troy,
sorry. My parents came back. I wanted to open the door for them and everything because they had their hands full from where they were fishing.
All right. I gotta get off now, brother. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
Troy,
hate to see you go, Troy.
Troy, before you bail, thank you for doing what you're doing. That looks beautiful. I'm very pleased.
Definitely.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm very pleased with what everybody's doing. Everybody's doing an awesome job. Very proud of everyone.
Definitely.
Welcome, brother.
You have a good night, Troy. And remember, stick to your shitpost agenda. It's all about the shitpost.
I always will.
You know it.
Oh, I'm Valkyrie Queen. Are you kidding me?
Oh, again with the little hints of what's to come. I love your Easter eggs, man.
Guys, it's been lovely. I love you guys. I'm gonna jump back to work. Thank you for having me. I'm gonna keep pushing on too.
Love you, brother.
Take care.
Right. No, once again, you know you're welcome on Meeting of the Minds anytime you're free. Just let me know.
We'll do this again very soon.
Word, bro. Later, Troy.
All right, take it easy.
Later.
Yep. Later.
Oh, so by the way, guys, since I'm on here right now, and we're just saying goodbye to the artist of Juan Poole, the artist, writer, creator, everything of Juan Poole. Make sure to check us out on Sunday night. We're going to be doing a live stream, and we're going to be giving away 2 Juan Poole packages. Yeah, we're going to give one of the issue and 2 away, and we're also going to be giving away a everything bundle. So if anybody's interested in the in Juan Poole, if you don't already have it yet, check out the live stream on Sunday. I believe we're going to be on John Della Rosa's channel, and we will be giving away 2 Juan Poole packages.
I know I'm going to be there. I'm
Right
like
on,
already
man.
like.
Yeah, and you know me, I'm going to be fair. Whoever wins
yeah.
is whoever wins.
Hey, dude, I'm not going to lie. I want that Juan Poole plushie. I want the Juan Poole plushie.
You can't, because the Juan Poole plushies are already sold out. There was only 3 of them. There was only 3 made.
Oh wow, I did not.
They're custom plushies, man. They were designed and created by hand by the lovely Unvarnished, a good friend of ours and a part of the Science Wizard team. And she did it all herself, and handcrafted stuff. That's it takes time, and you can only do so much, right?
Very true, very true.
I'm telling you, man, I wanted one too. I was hoping that they would stick around, like they wouldn't get picked up until like Friday, and I was gonna get one for me. I was just like hoping, like, oh man, like I don't have the money for it right now, because like all my money's kind of tied up with the Juan Poole campaign for the most part, and I was just like, oh man, I really want that plushie. Maybe it won't sell.
I got some interesting news. If anybody wants to hear it.
Always.
Yeah, sure.
Well, some of you might know I'm going to try to boost my platform on YouTube, and I want to start a show called the Cheesecake Challenge. It's kind of like Drawn and Quartered, but we'll be doing like sexy cheesecake art with thematics. every week, and then I would like to at least try to do an auction or some way to get the artist on the show, get a little bit of cash coming in from what they've been drawing, so they're not doing things completely pro bono. That's one of the things I'd like to do. And the other thing is, I think I might be getting a pinup done by Kelsey Shannon. So that's exciting.
Right on, man. That's a good get. Kelsey Shannon seems like a really swell guy.
Yeah, he's a good fellow. And that makes me kind of excited because I like his art. I think it'd be very fun.
So do I.
So
Definitely.
Speaking of doing art, did you see what Brad's projects went for the other night?
Yeah.
Yeah, he made almost 1,000K in that one stream.
Yeah.
What project?
He did 2 art pieces, and they did a auction on them. And I think he made he said he made almost 1,000K off of selling those 2 art pieces.
Well,
You mean 1K?
Somebody bought Slave Nasser. Somebody bought Slave Nasser for like 200 something.
Yeah.
Which I saw that and was like, I may have thrown up a little in my mouth. I'm just saying. It was like,
So you saw my response to that, right?
I did not.
No, I said I could take them, and then I posted that sexy picture of myself.
The one that you sent to Tim Lim, where you draw me like one of your French girls.
That's the one. And then I took that and used it to promote Wompool, and then got 2 sales off of it. So sexy sells.
Yeah, I reached out to Sashi. Got a price for her to do a Natsumi, and I got Ginger doing a Natsumi right now too. So hopefully, I'll be able to get those done here before the campaign ends. And then Brad, he's open to auctioning his Sporkman cover off. We might either do a tier for in the campaign itself, or might auction it off separately.
Nice.
Oh, speaking of Sashi, you guys have all seen the Sashi pinup that we got, right?
Yeah.
That Badger babe is smoking.
I know.
Her doing that is
good.
one of the reasons why I wanted her to do Natsumi, because she has just been really, these last few ones, the one she did for Tim's campaign, and then a few other ones she's done. She's just amazing.
Oh,
She's a rock star.
She did mine pretty damn well. I think I'm very pleased with what she did for me. So.
Oh yeah, let's just be honest. Sasha is very talented when it comes to just even the most basic drawing. She can be pump it out boom, there you go.
Yeah, I got an idea for a comic I would love to do with her too. It's one that I've had bumping around in my noggin for quite some time that I've been really wanting to do, but you know how it is.
Radiated combat hookers from Mars, you say?
No. But it's something that would need some finesse and some okays from some certain people. I'll just say that.
Gotcha. Still,
yeah, if I can get the okay from the person, then I would definitely want to do that with Sashi of all people, because I think she would do it justice. She wouldn't just do it justice; she would kill it. She would crush it.
All right, folks, I gotta head out and make dinner and such. Thanks for having me.
Lame.
Later.
Good talking to you, folks.
We've already lost
Yeah,
her, and
well.
now we're losing you. Lame.
My hunger demands satisfaction. So
Your hunger demands
maybe I'll
sacrifice.
swing back on if you guys are still on after I'm done. But no matter what, keep at it. One love, Army of One, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'll talk to you folks later.
Later.
Cody.
Later, Jack.
Have a good one, brother.
Bye to Cody.
That's still, I love that one love.
One love.
So, Josh, you're the resident animator here. Have you heard of Freedom Tunes?
Yeah. I've been watching them for a long time now.
I just learned about them yesterday, and the funny thing is, the only reason why I learned about them is because they did an episode making fun of the Tim Pool, Joe Rogan, Jack Dorsey, and whatnot bit, and he actually voiced himself, and it's like, oh god, this shit's hilarious.
I heard about it. I haven't actually had a chance to watch the Freedom Tunes because I'm busy most of the time, and when it comes to like all this, like it's fine to like draw and listen to stuff or like work and listen to stuff, but like animation, you tend to want to watch it. So yeah. I haven't really been watching the Freedom Tunes, but I listened to Tim Pool, and I did hear that he actually voiced himself on that, which is pretty great because they actually tend to make fun of people and poke fun, and he's a really good sport. So I like that about him.
Oh yeah.
And oh my god, I gotta say about Tim Pool though, like talk about like a live red pilling. I've been watching him for a long time now, and it's just like the journey that he's on is just like the biggest, most extreme red pilling journey of all time. Like if you watch some of his earlier videos and then you watch the stuff now, you're just like, wow, this guy is, he is getting mad.
Well, it's because he's seeing, like, okay, let's be honest, tribalism, both sides, right and the left, no matter how you try to quantify what is right and what is left, either way, both sides are highly tribal. Except, I will say the Republicans are more likely, if you screw up, you're on your own, dude. That's your mistake. You need to deal with it, where the left will circle even the crazies. And he's seeing that, and he's like, why are we circling the creative? Wait, why are we being... Hold up! Stop! And it's just seeing it, like you said, in real time, just every... Like, I expect by the end of his full conversion, he's still going to be independent, he's still going to be left-leaning, but you're just going to see him, like, sitting there smoking a cigarette, bottle of Jack, just like, I don't even care anymore, fuck the Democrat, I'm voting Libertarian.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. It'll certainly be interesting. But, yeah, let's get back to the comic book stuff, because that's the fun stuff. Anyway, let's talk to the chat for a little bit. Who's in the chat right now? I think I saw Duskquill there.
We have Duskquill, we have Gorgonite.
Yep.
We have Humble Marty, Star of Elion.
Right on.
Mecha.
Right on.
We got a good selection. Good.
Yeah, I'm sure some of them have had some questions or anything. Like ask some questions, guys. We want to get we want to get you in here involved.
Right?
We love our people.
We do love our people. But they are awesome. One of us.
Google gobble.
Right. Radical, enlightened, and shrimp-pilled alt-centrism is the one true path. This is what Gorgonite emissary said. And not saying Tim destroying Jack, Joe, and third wheel lawyer isn't fun. That's funny. You try to get it back to comic books and it goes...
Oh, hey, speaking of Tim's, did you guys see the Wampool crossover page that Tim Lim did for Walmite season or second term?
Yes.
No, yes. I didn't.
Oh, you gotta check it out, man. It's so great. I love Tim because he's so great with he's got such a creative fire and creative passion, and he's just so good with people.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, hey man, like let's do a thing. Like I'm excited, let's do it, and he does it. Like ever since I've met the guy, he's just been such a breath of fresh air, creatively, and just like as a human being, salt of the earth fella. I can't say enough good things about him. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm hoping to get him back on Meeting of the Minds before his campaign ends.
I want to get him onto Manimations. I mean, like the fact that I haven't had his team on Manimations yet, like it's just crazy. I want to get all three of them. I want Brett, Smith, Pellegrini, and Tim all at the same time. I mean, like we built up a pretty good rapport, me and them. So it's like. I mean, it's a no-brainer if you ask me.
Right? I will say though, Walmart, like I need to read the first issue. Like find a copy and read it. I did finally get a chance to read Black Ops, the first issue.
So good, right?
Oh man, Who would have thought you'd be rooting for a bunny like that and just like, come on, kick his ass, Thumper, kick his ass.
Hey, Josh, or not the other Josh. Hey, we'll have to talk off air because I can arrange that with you. I actually have an extra copy of My Hero.
Nice.
Yeah, originally when I got my order, somehow it wasn't delivered, and a few months ago it actually got delivered. So I don't know if it got lost in the mail somehow, but Integrated Press actually mailed me another copy to replace the one I didn't get. But yeah, about a month and a half ago I got it. So
I will glad, dude. I already tell you, it will go up on the wall.
Yeah. And speaking of customer service, so I didn't get my second copy of Jawbreakers because I had backed it to $25 tier and to $50 because Eric wasn't sure if he was going to be able to back it when the campaign ended. So I backed it for him. So I never got my $50 tier. I reached out to Zach. Zach's like, hey, I'll go ahead and get it, put you on the list to get it replaced. Now that's customer service to me.
Definitely.
And I'm like, yeah, what that is unbelievable. Like I wouldn't expect it. I just wanted him to find out, hey, what happened, to the original. Did it get lost? Was it ever shipped? Because that actually happened to me with Kat and Jay Shiro's background. Somehow my campaign got marked as shipped. And so they went back and they relooked, thought maybe this happened again. And yeah, for some reason why nothing came across. I'm like, yeah, I had both of them.
How did that happen the second time?
So yeah, I gotta love that he really stands by his word of customer service.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And we're doing the same thing with Wampool too. I mean, we've had people back out and stuff, and anytime somebody comes to me with like questions, concerns, comments, criticisms, like I address it every single time. I mean, customer service is not a difficult thing. You just gotta be kind, honest, patient, and understanding. I'm already all those things.
Well, you are Canadian, so that is kind of like the motto of the Canadians. It's like, how you doing, A? We're polite, A. Don't worry. We won't beat you unless we're playing hockey. Then you know their guy. We're gonna have to.
You got to remember the Canadians did kick our ass at one point, so
Right, we did.
And I gotta admit, Josh, that was great when I saw you. You post that tweet about reaching out to the customer who backed out of the campaign. I'm like, man, look at that. That is a great model. People should be looking to, and emulating.
That's the thing. Is the one thing I don't like about Indiegogo is that when somebody refunds on a contribution, you don't know why.
Yeah.
And so I wanna. Here's the thing. Like, I want to understand why people refund, because I want to kind of get an idea of what's going on with our customer base as well. If people are having, financial difficulties, or if they're like upset at something I said on Twitter, or like, I want to know, because like, if it's something that I can do better to avoid it happening again, I want to have that chance to fix it, to mend it, to make sure that going forward we can be better, right?
Oh, definitely.
And not only that, but like sometimes it's just like there's something going on that you don't know about, and you're just like, maybe it's something I can actually help with too. So I mean, why not? I believe in karma, because for some reason, like, every time I put good karma out there, it does come back. Good things do happen, and I want to keep that going, and I want to hopefully inspire other people to do so as well, because I think it's really important that we put positivity into the world.
Oh, yeah.
And I just don't see enough people doing that, and I think that people need to lead by example. You can't just say like, oh, we need positivity out there, if you're saying like, oh, we need positivity out there, then do it. You know, do it.
Oh, definitely. And on top of that, it's one of those, you know, we're going to sit here, and one of the biggest complaints we've constantly had, you know, for a long time about the big two is their poor customer service. And we're constantly saying, hey, you know, we can do better. Then, once again, lead by example. If they show them how it's done. It's like, look, it's not that hard. Like, especially for folks like myself who have, you know, experience in waiting tables, you know, working at Walmart, and as a stalker and electronics and whatnot, you know, it's not that hard. It's chipper tone. You know, how can I help you? How can I fix this? How can I make your experience good? And it's not that hard. You know, the old expression, the customer's always right. I mean, that it's true to an extent. It's true to an extent.
To an extent, like the customer is often wrong, but the customer is usually it's more like they're just uninformed. So
Exactly.
I mean, that's why the other important thing to keep in mind and to keep abreast of is also keeping your lines of communication open and clear. Transparency is probably the next most important thing outside of communication. Like, let people know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and any other who, what, where, when, why, or how. You know, it's not that hard. And I think we've been doing a pretty good job with that with OnePool, considering it's our first go around. So I'm thinking, you know, with the next one and the next one and the next one, like, we'll just be able to do better and better, and hopefully we can make Science Wizard a brand that people not only really enjoy because of our products, but also that they trust because of our service.
Exactly, and grow it into something that's where you don't have to do crowdfundings for your books and everything, because of the fact that you've done right by your customers so many times that you've got a built-in fan base. You can be like, okay, we know if we print, say, 500 copies of this book, that 500 copies will move. It won't just sit on a shelf somewhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Peter Smetty model, if you will.
Yeah, and speaking of Peter Smetty, like one of the things I keep saying is lead by example, and there's two examples that I've been following explicitly, and that has been of the late great Stan Lee and of Peter Smetty. Stan Lee, he showed us all the way. He really did, and his words are not unclear on the matters at hand. Like, he understood this. He understood it all. And he did it. Like, he loved his fans, and he loved the community, and he loved the customer, and he wanted to do what was right by them always. And Peter Smetty is one of the main people, probably one of the biggest people right now, that is really truly taking on that mantle and running with it. And I have so much respect for what he's doing and how he's doing it, because he is leading by example.
Oh, definitely.
And I think we should all follow that example. You know?
Oh yeah, there's a reason.
You see someone leading by example, you follow their example, and you become a leader as well.
Yes,
doing so, because somebody else will see what you're doing, much like you saw Peter or Stan Lee doing, and then they will see your example, and that will lead them to do better as well.
Yes,
it's so simple, and yet it's so hard for a lot of people, because a lot of people are very insular in their thinking. They don't think a lot about what's going on outside of themselves. But hey, there it is. Sorry for the rambling, but I was feeling it. I was feeling a moment there.
Oh yeah. Well, and look at the outcome. Look at Stan Lee. Even as an old man, he could walk through. No bodyguards, nothing. Walk through a comic convention. He knew that no one was going to mess with him. He knew if anyone tried to mess with him, the fans would be on that dude like ants on a grasshopper. Just, oh God, this is a bad plan. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it really was.
Stan Lee put in the legwork. He earned people's trust. You know, and I'm hoping to do the same thing. Like, I try not to do anything that would potentially break anyone's trust in me. You know, I've been very careful with that because I'm always thinking not just about like putting good stuff out there, but also making sure that my intentions are clear, making sure that my actions are clear. And I slip up every once in a while, but I always explain myself if I do, and try to make things right and not make the same mistakes. It's a very delicate line, but it's so doable. It's so doable. It's not hard, and I've done so all while staying away from the drama. Like, people don't tend to come after me. They don't tend to touch me with anything. And I think that's because I've put a positive message out there in general.
Well, no, I think they just don't come after you because you're Canadian. And as Zusko said it best in the chat, don't mess with the Canucks. Their pastime is hockey, the sport where if you get in a fight on the field and lose, you get penalized. It's literally fighting on ice. Such savages must not be tested.
It's not like you're Australians who lost 2 birds in a war.
2 what?
You ever hear of the Emu Wars in Australia?
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that.
Yeah. At least Canada is not Australia.
Well, at least anywhere is not Australia. God damn, Australia is a psychotic place to live.
Yeah.
And I used to say that because of the animals and the spiders and the
snakes.
Oh yeah. Now I say it because of the social
people.
justice. You know, I'll take the spiders and the snakes, please. Thank you.
I just want to say I threw up a tweet in link in the chat. They're looking now for Peter's online stream name. It looks like his alternate name out of his top 4. Yeah, it looks like they're looking for a name: St. Peter, Printing Peter, Holy Smoke, Samedi, Publishing Pete.
I like St. Peter.
I was actually about to vote the same.
Same thing, yeah. It looks like that is actually winning right now.
Yes,
because he is definitely 100% St. Peter.
Yep.
Well, I mean, does he really need a special name or title?
No, but
Peter Samedi. That's all you need.
It's one of those though. We are comic book collectors, and we do like our spiffy nicknames. I mean, come on.
Our personas. No, not personas. Our secret identities.
Exactly. You got it. I mean, come on. I got 2. Bob Joel, Bob Jones.
I mean, come on. Well, I am Josh the Amazing Animator, also known as the Dear Leader.
Yeah, I'll just stick with Spork. I'm good.
The one and only Spork. Or if you're in the 30s, Detective Spork. See, I'm here to handle the situation and do it in Sporky style. Away!
Big rig butter.
Hey, but speaking of that, by the way, Josh, I wanted to see if you guys, actually, this is just a reach out to you guys too, you and Slick. So we're going to be doing a radio drama for the campaign for people. We're going to be doing a Sporkman radio drama set in the 1930s. Me and Bob are writing for it. And
you can count on my voice talents.
Well, that's what that's what I'm saying. We want to have people, you guys involved too. See if you guys, what we could do is we're thinking about maybe doing like an on-air testing and just to have fun with it, and then maybe we would, if it's well received, we might turn it into an ongoing series.
Cool. That sounds like it could be fun. Yeah.
That's like, let's just say I'm looking forward to it because today on the Adventures of Sporkman, will our hero save the girl? Will he defeat the evil Dr. Foon? Will he discover how he can use the power of the Spork for the good of mankind? Find out today. I have way too much fun doing that. You have no idea.
You know what we did back when I was in college? We had a drinking game that was really fun. We called it the horse races. I don't know if I told you guys about this. But you'd have like the four types of cards. You know, your clubs, your diamonds, your hearts, and your spades. And then you would have like one card of each, and they would have like a track of like several different cards, you know, face down, just to kind of like, you know, do like a space. So every time like you pull a card from the deck that matches the horse, like with that same face type. What do you call that? Type of card. I don't know. Like if you pull a heart, like the heart horse moves forward one space. If you pull a diamond, the diamond horse moves forward one space, right? And then you know, whenever, you know, and it's only like 10 spaces. It goes really quickly. But as soon as like one horse reaches the finish line, whoever is designated that horse has to drink. So if you're betting on the horse that wins, you drink. and oftentimes, like when I'm pulling the cards, I would start like announcing just like that, like, and the next one in the lead, the diamond pulls into the lead. We got a real big scrapper here, and diamond number 1.
Here we go. We have diamond in the lead in the first in the lead, followed behind hearts and hearts. Behind that, we have the spade of the lead.
That's what we should have done. We should have named the horses. That would have been fun. That would have been way more fun.
This way you can just have, you know, silly names to shout out, like, come on, whatever, like, because it'll probably end up changing every race, because that's part of the challenge, seeing what level of funny name you give your horses.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was a good drinking game. That was a fun drinking game. I highly recommend it. Day of the races.
I still say the quickest way to alcohol poisoning is watch anything with Brie Larson in it and take a shot every time she has resting bitch face. You'll be drunk within 5 minutes and dead within an hour.
She basically has perfected the resting bitch face.
No. All right, I've made I guess you could say a meme with that, where the rules of the game, and I specifically used her one of her screenshot from one of her music videos, just because you see her and then she's got resting bitch face, and it's like, God, you could tell even when you're a teenager you were a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on, you have mastered the art of that face. Now, if only you could master the art of other faces. You know, or even smiling. That would be a nice, and not the snooty smile. No, proper smile. Like,
oh, you mean the murderous smile that she has on that one movie? Because, you know, hey.
You know, you don't want this. I'm just saying.
You guys are gonna like the latest quantification. It's a baby. Baby pool. Or should it be what's the Spanish word for infant?
Niño.
Or
Infante.
pool.
I'm glad somebody knew. I was gonna be like, man, are you kidding me? Do I look like I speak Spanish? Do I look like I speak anything other than bad English? I'm just saying.
Or you could say niñito, which is a really small child. Niñito.
Niñito pool. I like that. Much better.
Infanto is a infanta. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I love Fanta.
Yes, Fanta.
Don't you want to Fanta? Don't you want to Fanta?
It's like I wanted to ask you, how are we doing on Little Girl Lethal?
How am I doing? I'm
doing
great.
Oh, it's definitely coming along.
1 second. I will inform you of the current status of Little Girl Lethal. Mm-hmm. There's a dog. Yay.
Yes. Because Harley gets excited, and the first thing she starts doing is barking.
All right, so we've kind of eked up over the last little while. I got a pretty good bump since I kind of became a little more active on Twitter and started to try to drum up more support, just in a broad way. I've decided to drop a whole lot of the ideas of labels, and I just want to be me, with my friends, and avoid drama, kind of like what Jack was saying. So I bumped up maybe $300 in the last little while. 21,157 is our current total, which is nice.
Nice. Nice.
I'm digging it.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I mean, you got a project that all around is 100% is like just balls to the wall, awesome.
Well, I've tried to stay positive, and I know that I've limited my demographic because of the subject matter of your book, but I think adults can be excited about stuff too. So, yeah,
very excited.
In every way.
But I think that in the future, there's a lot of latitude for greater success. I'm gratified by what I've seen so far, and I hope to build on that. So
yeah. I mean, the thing that we also have to remember is that, like, I think the majority of people don't follow the drama.
No.
I really don't think they give a shit. Like, they just want some good comics, and you know, I'm happy to give that to them. Let's do it.
I mean, as much as we all like talk about Comicsgate, it is quite a narrow niche of like the vastness of population. So I would like to get into the minds of that big pool, that ocean out there of people that are potential customers, potential fans of my property, of your properties, because people have noticed on Twitter, I generally I'm pimping Juan Pool pretty hard. When Jack starts ramping up and the Ferrymen, I'm going to be putting their stuff out there. I have other friends and other circles that I try to keep them in mind. And there is some stuff that I'm not necessarily my friends, but I'm kind of excited about, going about. That Icarus and the Sun, I backed that. I looked at it and I saw why a bunch of people liked it. I backed it. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And speaking of, since you mentioned it, who all's excited for the Ferryman issue 2?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, ever since the first one came out, that's been my most anticipated project of the year. It really has. Like he knocked it out of the park with the first one. Like, he killed it. It was a great book. It was my favorite comic of that year. Prose, indies, everything in between. Ferryman was number one for me.
Because it was such an original idea. It's not quite a Titan Capes comic. It's not really a horror comic. It's like it's hard to really label that book, but other than good. Like, once you read it, you're like, what the, this is I want more.
Oh, hey guys,
I need my fix, man.
Guys, I just got some good news. Did you guys see that video of that guy who was kicking the old lady in the face on the subway?
Yes.
Yeah.
They got him.
They got him.
Got him. Fuck that guy.
Yep.
Seriously,
Right?
that was one of the most horrifyingly evil things I have seen in a long time.
Oh, I know.
Dude is straight.
Whatever happened to respecting your elders?
What? Good question. We used to take like our culture. I mean, I say our, but like, I mean, Canadian and American culture have pretty much been very similar in a lot of ways. My entire life. So, I mean, what happened to our culture where, like, we used to really revere the elderly? You know, we used to revere them, respect them, and we wanted to keep them like happy and safe. Like,
you want to?
And now I'm seeing like people like, and same with like women and children, and now I'm seeing like these like people, adults are doing horrible things to like children, the elderly, to women, and I'm just like,
I want to know the truth? I can explain it to you very simply. Intersectionality.
yeah,
It's like the whole line that everyone knows from The Last Jedi. I haven't even seen the movie and I know it. You know, where it's all you have to something about do what you have to get rid of the past, even if you have to destroy it or something along those lines.
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's basically what they're doing. They're doing everything that they can to destroy the past. Like, take a look at, I think it was in the live stream last night, or no, it was this morning, because I Think Critical or something like that is the name of the channel. I came across, and there one of the guests on the live stream this morning was talking about how basically take Stan Lee. The minute he died, all these SJWs started doing everything they were celebrating. All these SJW comic pros were celebrating. Why? Because the old man was gone. They no longer have him there to basically keep them in line. They could do whatever they want. They could run roughshod over Marvel and DC, or well, Marvel and I should say, to whatever extent they want, and instead of respecting the past because the past is a good foundation for the future, destroy the past so they can have a swampy foundation of intersectionality that no one likes, and you get the idea. It's just pure culture war BS, and being the fact that the elderly generations showed that you can do things and it can work, and it didn't go with what they think should work, they got to destroy it. They got to do whatever they can to... You get the idea.
But hopefully some of the stuff that we're doing can kind of like help to bring some of that culture that we missed back. Telling tales about heroes, telling tales about good people doing good things. I mean, that was one of the things that really really bothered me about that whole ordeal, was that nobody did anything. Nobody raised a finger to stop this sick, evil prick. Like, just evil to the core.
Right.
And nobody lifted a finger to do anything. They took videos, which I'm glad there's at least one person to do videos. You don't need like 6 people filming it. Like at some point someone has to put the phone in the pocket and stop it. Just stop it.
Duskull is presenting a valid point where he's like, had people stepped in to defend themselves, or the old lady, you would have received punishment for it, and it's because it's NYC. New York City, I know for a fact, is a duty to retreat state. You cannot actually confront someone unless you cannot retreat. Yep. But if you can retreat, you have to.
Yep.
Yes.
That is twisted, dude.
Yep, London's the same way. It's England, and the entirety of England is this way, where if you can retreat, you are supposed to. You are not allowed to defend yourself.
Well, no wonder that evil was able to propagate with such laws preventing people from doing good.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the quickest way to make someone the victim is to remove their ability to fight back.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, it's one of the reasons why, as much as I hate Oklahoma, thank God I live in this state. Because, you know what? If someone tried to basically victimize me or someone around me, I'm well within my legal rights to beat the brakes off of them and send them on their way. It's like,
and you should. But, I don't know, man. I'm glad that we're bringing actual heroes back. Heroes like Juan Poole, like Jack Irons, even Little Girl Lethal, though her methods are extreme. She's a hero, right? She goes after the bad guys.
Well, we'll see.
And like the shame is we live in today's, Jordan Peterson says a lot about, postmodernism and things like that. And it's like, well, it's not just postmodernism. It's not just feminism. It's not any one thing. It's them all combined.
Yep.
And
right, yeah,
it's as much as I hate to be that guy, and as much as I hate
are you going to be that guy?
Oh, I'm going to be that guy. Unfortunately, when you had my entire generation dogged Christianity, spent years dogging it. Dog Christianity, dog Judaism, and dog Islam. Now it's still cool to dog Christianity and Judea, but Islam is so sacred and so on and so forth. And it's like, look, dude, even if you disagree with religion, even if you're someone like myself who spent many, many years as an atheist, and I will admit it, now I'm a neo-Olympian. Thank you, Slick. I still like that. But my whole point is without religion is a very good foundation for morals, for proper behavioral patterns.
That's true.
Since we've removed this foundation of a strong society, it's not just religion, but religion is one of them, because it's also the breakup of the family, things like that. It's without such things, your society will crumble. You need a strong family unit. You need people to believe in things bigger than themselves. And it doesn't necessarily have to be religion. It has to be, but it has to be something just and true. You know what I mean? Even if it's not like the government, but like the military, you believe in your troops. You're still believing in something bigger than you. Yeah. But we don't do that. We have an entire group of people. It's why Generation Z is actually, in a way, correcting that trend.
Right, because they realize this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny. I was listening to weekly. I listened to one of the. My background is in biblical studies. I was listening to one of the pastors, and they were talking about this. They said the millennial generation, their church attendance dropped down to 13% from my generation and the baby boomers, which was about 50%. They said the Generation Z is bringing that back up. They're not back to what millennial or what Gen Z or Gen Xers and baby boomers are, but they're back up to Gen Z is about a 30% attendance rate back at church or some sort of religious observance.
Right. You know what the problem was, I think, with the millennial generation with church, and I can say this because I am a millennial, and I hate church. I hate it. I do not go to church if I can avoid it. And that's because it's so boring. It's so boring. I'm sorry, but it is the most boring place on earth. Like, you gotta find a way. The message is there. It's a good message. It's a just message. It's a message that needs to be spread. Like, it's just you would definitely boring.
I think you would definitely then hate listening to Jesus actually speak, because what they do in church is exactly how Jesus spoke.
It's it also depends on the denomination. It also depends on the denomination. If you go to a Pentecostal church, it's more animated. It's and it's to quote Eddie Griffin, he said, when you go into a black church, the preacher's skimming a little off the top and this, that, and the other. He might be selling, bootlegs out the back of the church. But you walk in that motherfucker, you can feel the Lord, the Holy Spirit in there. You felt like you were in church, that enthralled you. It was an interactive experience compared to standard Catholicism, which is open your Bible to page such and such, such and such, and
that's not Catholicism. That's more Protestantism is the one that pretty much goes right from the Bible, getting people to open up. Go to a Catholic church, you're gonna find it hard to find someone with an actual Bible unless you're the priest.
Well, do you guys know of a guy called Jesse Lee Peterson?
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Name sounds familiar. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, he's this black preacher on YouTube. He hosts a show where he just talks to people. But he's a funny guy, man, and he's a preacher. Like, I listen to his sermons and the things that he says about Christianity and stuff, and I like it. He's good. Like, he's able to get the message out there, and he makes it entertaining, because one of the things that he has done is he's recognized the threat of the whole feminism intersectionality thing, and he rails on it, and it's hilarious. He's so good at it. He just doesn't take any shit, and I like that about him. But also one of the things that I think makes him stand out from any of the other preachers that I've ever experienced growing up is that he actually gets people to think. He doesn't just say, here's how you should live your life. He says, here think about it. Come to a conclusion on your own. Like, why do you think this is the right way to be? And it's refreshing, like that, because I think that's what's missing with a lot of people these days, particularly in my generation, is that they're followers, they're sheep. They don't want to think.
So.
They just want to be distracted and told what to do.
Yep.
because they're desperately afraid of responsibility.
And to take some posts from chat, it's going to be a bit of a string, so bear with me. Duskull said it best. To take it back to the start of this, I'll never blamed postmodernism either. Postmodernism is a mechanism of destruction, deconstructing previous rules, myths, and lessons to build something better. But people prefer to wallow in filth. All these things are mere tools, and the people who refuse to build upon the blank slate they have is to blame. We must rebuild, otherwise the deconstruction is for naught, which is very true. Yep. It's like what Josh Howard said, rebuilding the deconstructed hero, and T-Bird and Throttle is a valid point. And then Gorgonite Emissary, hot take, Robert Heinlein may have had a point with the whole civilians and citizen structure in Starship Troopers. I highly agree with that. I really do.
I do too.
Heinlein, and you see my response to him. He really had a pulse on culture, not just in the whole the military aspect, but religion and stuff like that.
Human condition.
Yeah,
the human condition. Yeah,
100%. I mean, Heinlein is a fantastic. If you guys have never read any of his work, I really recommend him. Him and Isaac Asimov, 100%. Both of those guys had a.
And for those in the chat that don't know, Heinlein was the guy who wrote Starship Troopers.
Yes, that's actually what he was saying. The civilian citizen structure in Starship Troopers. And
I think it's a really great structure because it puts a focus on personal responsibility. Yep. It says that the citizen is responsible for the citizenry. It is your own personal duty to make sure that your culture and your people are protected. And that's the thing. Like, my whole generation has been so scared away from responsibility, but responsibility is what gives your life purpose. It's why when people have kids, they tend to say, "Oh yeah, it changes everything," because it does. Because now you're responsible. You're responsible for something bigger than yourself. You're responsible for something more than just your own personal well-being and your own personal feel-goodness.
Oh, yeah. So, I would agree with that 100%. I never wanted kids myself, but when Ava came into my life 11 years ago, and I never wanted children, but being that I became responsible to help raise her, it changed my opinion about having kids for the most part. There's still part of me that doesn't want it, but at the same point, I now realized, hey, I might be the uncle, but I'm directly responsible for raising her. I need to clean myself up. And be a better person.
I mean, what's funny is I think that the fact that I've always wanted a family, that I've always wanted children, is one of the reasons why I've always been so resilient against this social justice brainwashing, as opposed to a lot of my peers, because a lot of the people, that seems to be the primary gateway into social justice is the desire to not have kids. And that's from my own personal experience, but also just ignorance of what all of that entails too. Mm-hmm. I it's amazing because I've actually met several women in their mid to late 20s and even 30s that do not even know that, or at the time did not even know that women have a limited window of time in which they can breed.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? People in their 30s? That shouldn't be possible. That is such a basic piece of knowledge that you should understand from a very early age. Well, and it's clearly just not even being taught anymore. Let alone anything real about children. Nowadays, most of the I guess what they call sexual education regarding children is fear mongering about it.
Yeah.
Oh, and may I say, it's one of the big issues that you see is, one, they don't, you got to go into female desirability peaks at 18, whereas male desirability peaks at 50. Why?
Right.
Because females can only, it's not, beyond 40, getting into 50 is where you start having the high risk of complications.
Yep.
Most people don't know that.
Yes.
And because that's why younger is more desirable amongst men, and whereas women, they generally prefer older men anyway, because of the fact that older men are more likely to be responsible, more likely to have their own act together, things like that.
But also to have the resources, resources too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But
that's the thing is like we're biologically hardwired to desire younger women because we like our biological programming tells us breed, you know, and one of the things that you want if you're going to be breeding is healthy children that will survive, you know, and the healthier they are, the more likelihood they will be able to survive and succeed in life. And if the woman is older, like the older they get, the less likely they will be healthy.
Yeah.
It's not really a complicated issue if you're just honest.
But they make it a complicated issue. They make
right.
a situation where, and on top of that, you also got to take into account that's just one aspect. We're just touching on one aspect. That's without going into the fact that a lot of them are intersectionality, late onset. Late onset gender dysphoria, which, let's be honest, or sudden onset gender dysphoria. And I personally believe that is a situation of
gay. No,
I was actually going to say environmental factors. People around them constantly pushing this ideology and constantly saying, well, it's one of those, because it's more likely to happen to females than it is to males, but at the same time, it also happens more commonly with high school females, where there's such a higher, like, high school males, it's all about, let's be honest, all of us remember high school where it was pretty much ye who has the most testosterone, that is the biggest prick of them all, pretty much, is the one in charge. Whereas with females, they are very hive mindish. Even though any female will tell you they don't like other females, for some reason the hive mind still is there. Don't ask. I don't.
Oh, it's that desire to fit in.
Yeah. But exactly, and because of that desire to fit in, that pressure to do what your friends are doing, all of a sudden you start having a bunch of high school females thinking that because, you know, maybe one friend was actually transgender and got a lot of attention, so the other females in their group was like, well, if that worked for, let me do that too.
I have this theory that I think women are, this is just my view, I think women are inherently like gender neutral for a lot of reasons. They're more prone to being gender neutral. You know what I mean? That because there is that woman who is the bull dyke. You know what I mean? You have the more. I think women have a much more fluidity of sexuality than men do. You know, because of the estrogen, and I think a lot of things. I think that why our culture or our genetics is changing, and I think not just because it's a mental problem. I really think, and this is my opinion, that I think that all the amount of drugs and that we're pumping into our bodies is changing our genetics.
It is.
And these things are becoming more and more common because we're pumping ourselves through these synthetic things. We're no longer. Look, especially here in America. I don't know what it's like up there in Canada, Josh. I mean, how much pesticides on food, like there's very little to no nutrients that we have to sublet our nutrients with vitamins and stuff like that. There's so many things I think that are really going on to why our society is just literally falling apart. It's just not a heart issue, it's everything. I think there's
it's partly, yes, I do agree with you. It is, a lot of the genetically modified foods, yes, they are safe, but at the same time, we don't know the long-term effects of being exposed to them. We don't know the long-term side effects of, it's like, I will sit there, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I will say there are questions. It's okay to ask questions about vaccines.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I firmely believe 100% there are people who may become autistic because of these vaccines. Not everybody should be vaccinated with. I don't agree with the 60. I remember when Ava was getting vaccinated over the years, and I'm like, her first 2 years, she had like 60 shots. I'm like, that is ridiculous. How the heck is the human body supposed to adjust to getting 60 different vaccines?
Exactly. And, it's not like for instance, the polio vaccine, which the dude pretty much, the scientist, he didn't get rich. He pretty much gave it away to, this way we can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That probably pissed a lot of people off.
Oh, I'm sure.
that he gave it away. Oh, man.
Well, so did the guy who who found the cure for tuberculosis. The same thing. He pretty much gave it away too.
And it's because of the fact that they understood these things were greater than them. We're bigger than them. It's like I always say about Christopher Nolan and the Batman Dark Knight trilogy that he did. How he couldn't understand that Batman was bigger than him. These guys understood that these vaccines were bigger than them. And it's just, I'm not saying, get rid of all the vaccines and this, that, and the other. I'm just saying it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to want independent, not studies done by the companies that own the vaccines. I'm talking fully independent, non-biased, like completely blind, proper blind studies on these vaccines to see if they truly are safe. That's all I'm asking for. Because you know what? A vaccine being proven to be not safe is not the end of the world. It just means we go back to the drawing board and modify it to where it is fully safe. You know what I mean? This is
why I love coming on the Meeting of the Minds. You never know what thread we're going to come into. But getting back into that, like, and weaving this back into the comics, like, that's actually, like, the thing is there's a lot of potential here, even within a lot of this stuff that we're talking about, for interesting stories. And there sure, there's some like measure of a stance on the political side of it within the stories, but we understand that, like, those stories can be told, those messages can be portrayed in a story without it being heavy-handed, without it being preachy, Marvel. And I have to say, like, the Help Becky Smash book that is one of the projects that Troy and I are going to be working on immediately following Wanpool, is Help Becky Smash and Last Call. That actually delves a lot into the stuff that I'm talking about, the human condition, and the realities of human female sexual reality. But it's done in a very fun way. Like, it's really not entirely about that. It's really about the characters and how they deal with this kind of stuff, and what kind of, and how that, like, affects them and changes their character, and how they will grow, and they can grow in a positive way or a negative way, or in some instances maybe both. We'll see. You'll have to check out Help Becky Smash when it comes out later this year.
Well, you already know. I want y'all on so y'all can push the book on Meeting of the Minds, because that's what we do.
That is what we do.
But
what we do.
Yes. Well, but my whole thought when it comes to the various, like you mentioned, the heavy-handedness and preachiness of Marvel. I mean, that's the one thing. Like oh man, like, one of the things that I am so sick of hearing. Well, comic books have always been political. Yes.
Fuck that shit. No,
yes, they have, but within reason. Like, Stan Lee, when he wrote his, like, whenever he let political stories be told, he always tried to have neutral stories. Like, there's a reason why he didn't do the same thing that happened with, like, you couldn't have Captain America punching out, a Viet Cong general, take that, Charlie, like he did with Hitler, because he understood it was very nuanced, it was very unpopular, and the smart move was to stay out of it, to present a very neutral perspective of the Vietnam War. And you have, like, there's so many points within comics where, yes, they may have used allegory and metaphor to try to get a point across, but they did it in a way that it was very neutral. It was meant to, hey, at least start thinking about it. You know, we're not saying you have to agree with us, but at least think about it. That's all we're asking. At least spend 5 minutes putting some thought into this conversation, into this subject, and who knows if you might end up agreeing with us, but it's all we're asking is for you to think about it.
Well, here's the thing, and this is where I disagree with you on that, because when they say comics have always been political, and you say, sure, they've been political always in some capacity, you're not thinking about it in the same way as they are. When they say comics have always been political, and the way comics are political now, they're thinking comics have always been there to push a particular political agenda. That's what they mean when they say comics have always been political. When we say it, we say there's always been some measure of political elements within the stories generated by comics. They mean that it's a way to push politics. You know, like even stories that are heavily involved in politics, like I guess the best modern example would be Trump Space Force, which I finally got, and I haven't read it yet though. I'm kind of saving it until I can get together with Kira, because both of us are in the comic, and I want to read it together. You know, have that cuddle time. But the point is that the politics are in service to the story, and the politics is not the primary goal of it. The goal of it primarily is fun, and you see that in My Hero Macadamia. You know, I read My Hero Macadamia. That was my first introduction to Tim Lim's work, and I loved it. It was hilarious. And the thing was, like, you could easily enjoy that book whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, whether you're American, whether you're Canadian or other. It's not about the politics. It's about the fun first, and then like if you understand the politics, you know, you'll get a lot more out of it. But you don't have to think. You don't have to support one side or the other to enjoy it, and that's the difference. That's more like the political stuff that was involved in Marvel Comics of old, is where you understood the different positions, but they didn't tell you like, oh, this is the way to be. And that's what I love about it. And it's crazy because I went and I added My Hero Macadamia to my pull list at my comic store the other day, and the comic I guess the clerk. What do you call them? Clerks? Do we call them clerks?
Yeah.
I guess clerk. The clerk that was serving me at the time, he's just like, I don't know why we fucking stopped those stupid fucking books. These stupid fucking Trump books. Oh, yeah, we got Trump derangement syndrome here in Canada out the wazoo. Best believe, all right? But I was just like taken aback because, like, I'm right here. I'm standing right in front of him. I'm saying, I would like to order this comic book. And he's like having a fucking tantrum because I enjoy this. I'm ordering this book that he doesn't like. And he's never read it. I said, like, have you read it? No, I don't need to read that stupid shit. I'm just like, you know, it's like a pretty apolitical story. Like, you don't have to be one side or the other to enjoy it. It's a parody, you know? It's for fun.
But
fucking Trump.
Yeah. Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad.
Right? But the thing
Oh,
is,
yeah, he Orange Man batted hard. I was like legitimately ready to ask him for his supervisor to be like, what the fuck is this? Like, he's basically trying to dissuade me from adding this comic to my pull list. He's basically dissuading me from like giving you money.
Yeah.
This is not capitalism. If your employees are basically having hissy fits and tantrums at the customers because they order a book that he doesn't like, fire him. If I was his boss, I would have fired him on the spot.
Right?
You don't do that.
Yeah,
That's not customer service. That's a fucking tantrum. Children have tantrums. Children aren't allowed to have jobs. Get the fuck out.
Right?
What's funny is, you know, I actually had a call when my first my new director came in. I always like to call him my supervisor because he is my supervisor, but he is the director of the department. So, you know, he this customer called in and she was kind of snooty, and I kind of just was having a bad day, and I kind of was kind of disrespectful to her back. And my boss called me in here and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "You're not normally like this. I get you're having a bad day, but and he's like, I can't have you be doing that." He's like, I know you. This is a one-off thing. He's like, I'm going to bat for you. This is your one warning, but I could let you go right here, out the door, right now, just for that one thing, just because I had a bad day, and it really made me. And I'm not normally like that. I'm actually praised by my, I won multiple customer service awards through my 20-some years because I'm very good with customers. You have a bad day, I understand that, I get that, but when you're actively trying. Yeah, when you're actively trying to tell somebody, no, I'm not going to buy I don't want you to buy this product. Fuck you. You're out the door.
Oh yeah, and
I wouldn't even give them a second chance if that was me. I could just get the fuck out right now, and don't you ever show your face around here again.
Yeah,
that's how upset I would be as the boss. And I tend to like these people at the store, but that was unacceptable.
Oh, I agree. And real quick, to pull from chat. Duskwill, I love politics and stories. It can be very interesting if done right. But when the writer spends the story preaching that certain ideologies, schools of thought are evil, it becomes insulting, especially if they don't explain why it's evil. Instead of going the route of Nazi bad, don't do Nazi, it's like, okay, I know Nazi bad, but why is Nazi bad? What Nazi do? Show me Nazi doing Nazi.
Show, don't tell.
Yeah, I want to know why this Nazi bad. What is the point? Me no Nazi bad all me life. You're not doing something new or revolutionary here. It's pathetic, insulting my intelligence.
But you know what? There's a lot of opportunity there for nuance too, because at the end of the day, we're writing stories about people. We're writing stories about human beings, and there's a lot of nuance. People are nuanced. There's this great song from this band called Colorado. And I was actually in one of their music videos. You can't really see me in the video because it's a crowd, but I was there. But they have this great song, and it's called "Oh So It Goes." And the message of that story is it's this the lead singer is of Dutch descent, and he's telling the story about his grandfather who was taken hostage in a Nazi internment camp, and his jailer was basically supposed to kill him, but he set him free instead. A Nazi, right? Because he couldn't do it. He couldn't go through with it. And he's talking. What is that? What is going on? Hello? Miles?
Hello. That would be my phone. I'm sorry. Very poor time.
Yeah.
I was going to come in with a joke, and then it just started ringing.
But
I'll be right back.
Okay. But yeah, so, I mean, the story's basically about how his Nazi jailer set him free, and then when it came to the trials later on, he was brought in to testify, and he basically testified that this Nazi didn't do the bad thing. He went against his superior's orders, and he didn't kill him, and he helped that his jailer, who initially set him free, he helped set his jailer free as well from the Nuremberg trials or whatever. And that's the kind of thing that's really interesting, because the world is not black and white. It's not it's not one thing or the other. There's so much nuance to life and humanity and people in general. And it's when people get it in their head that everything is black and white, like these Antifa types, who is basically just like, anyone who doesn't agree with me is a Nazi and should be punched. Those people, they don't understand that humanity is nuanced because they're so unused to dealing with actual people. They're always stuck on the internet where they get into a specific group of people in a specific chat room or whatever, in a specific community that all thinks the same way, so that whenever they're confronted by someone who doesn't think exactly like they do, they don't understand how to handle it. They're not conditioned to deal with dissent.
They're not conditioned to understand the concept of debating to begin with. But it's like it's funny because I got thinking about it today, and I was almost tempted to do a video about it because I was tempted to do a video about the Mueller report. But I was like, one of the things that I got thinking about is like maybe the reason why those on the left are so quick to want to get rid of guns and whatnot is because of how many authoritarians are in their midst, and they know and let's be honest, the way Antifa acts, they think, well, if this is how our tribe acts, how does the other tribe act? Whereas conservatives, like I said, they're more likely to throw you to the wolves. If you do something stupid, you're on your own, bitch. That was your fuck up.
Excuse me. As a right winger, I'd like to correct you. We prefer firing squads to wolves. Thank you very much. No. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm sorry about that.
Good, good. How are you, Vi?
Very good.
It's been a while since you've been here.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's been a crazy few weeks. Got a new job. That's good. So I'm able to actually afford an artist now. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Someone is trying to get me deplatformed again.
Yeah,
Or rather, let me rephrase that. My good friend. They're trying to get my good friend deplatformed on Twitter. I don't know what's going on. My good friend has not said anything outrageous, but I am already getting messages from Twitter. He is already getting messages from Twitter.
Smooth.
And I don't know what's going on. The last one might have been because I said Shane Dawson may have fucked his cat. So that's probably why I got permaban last time. I'm sorry to come in here and take over though, like that, fellas.
It's okay.
Continue on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh,
Hey,
and
we got a new contribution to Juan Boo.
Yes,
And
yes.
let's see. Where does that put us? I think it puts us in a good place. Yes, it does. We're at 8313. Woo! We're on our way. 7 days left. Only 7 days left. 1 week. We are in the last week of the campaign. Can we get to 10K? I hope so, because if we get to 10K, all right? If we get to 10K, then our boy Troy is going to be including additional story content. What that story content is going to be a preview of his next project, Last Call. And this preview is called The Offspring. So you'll definitely want to check that out. If you've been looking at Troy's timeline, then you'll probably be somewhat familiar with The Offspring by now, because he's put up her designs quite a bit. So she's out there, and I really want to get that story, because I've read the script. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. And what that leads into is going to be something really, really special. A little experimental, but like super, super fun. And I can't wait.
Definitely. No, I think we're all looking forward to, first off, one full issue too. I mean, like the fact that got nominated for MD Book of the Year. I'm just saying, Troy's first venture out and gets a nomination like that says a lot about the potential for the book and everything. And I think the fact that, like, I wish I had a bigger audience. I wish I had like EBS size audience so I can be like, back this book. Do it now. Do it now.
Yeah, you and me both. You and me both.
Mm.
It's always a good time with Wampool, and we've had so much fun with like the community too. All the Juan Sonas that are coming out that people have done. Mind if I share my screen for a little bit and show them off a little?
You have control of this screen.
All right. So here's the one that I'm working on right now. This is little baby Pool. Isn't that adorable?
I like the keyboard there, Josh.
Yeah. The keyboard. There's a couple little.
Nice.
It's got a Badger Babe, hashtag Army of Juan Love, and 10K pins. If you don't know, if we get to 10K before the initial campaign closes, everybody's also going to get some Juan Pool button pins. But yeah, check it out. We got our good friend friendly neighborhood ninja. He gave himself a nice one pool mask. We got our friend Brett from that comic, whatever it's called, Changeling. That's it. Yes. I got it. We got this beautiful one from Mist. Like, it's subtle but like super cute. I love that one. I love this art is awesome. So I wanna get in touch with her, talk about potential opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Science Wizard doesn't discriminate. Yeah, if we see talent, we want that talent.
The colors are really nice.
Yeah, and of course we've got Nerd Wander. This one's a little small. We got this one. I think Troy did this one for Purity Sin. Yeah, that's Purity. There we go. This one, I forget who this was, but that's a nice little modification of the official Wampool logo. This fella here, I forget the name. I'm not good with names, so I'm a little slow with that. But this is a fun one.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, Samurai Raccoon. We got our good friend
Smack and
Kraken, rocking the Wampool swag. Dan Sachurao, Tank, Thinker. What was he called? Something Thinker. I don't know. Destructive Thinker, something like that. But he made a Thinker pool. We got Charger pool. That one was also done by Troy, of course, because he's also doing Charger. And then of course there's the ones that I've been doing paid, the paid ones. So here's Guardian Angel. I turned him into Kid Quesadilla. This was one where he wanted me to just like take his Sona that he did, and he just wanted me to like kind of improve it a little bit. So I just kind of did a redraw of that. Gave him some proper. I learned how to draw fire just so that I could do this.
Nice. That's actually really well done.
Yeah, thanks. I thought it turned out pretty cool. Yeah, our good buddy John Delarose becomes Juan Delarose.
I've seen that one.
Yep.
This was a girl named
Serena.
Name. No, that's not Serena. It was like a Sarah. Started with an S as well, though. But I turned her into Juanum. like a Juan-style Venom symbiote. I thought that was fun. I had a lot of fun with this one. It was difficult because like her hair kind of covers up the majority of her torso, so I was just like, oh, there's not a lot I could do with her torso there. So I was just like, I gotta figure out a way to utilize the hair somehow. So I put a little Juan in the hair, and I gave her like the pink kind of symbiote tentacles. That was a fun one. Very, very good exercise in these. Hold on a sec, because I got to skip one. Then there's this fella here, the one of the horsemen of, I don't know, Orange Man Bat or something like that. I forget. Oh, Horsemen of Death in it was a Merc's story. No, not Merc. It was another guy. But I turned him into the Taco Mancer, summoning tacos from beyond. And this guy, Man of Sex, as soon as I saw that name that he had for himself, I was just like, oh, yes, this is going to be fun. Turned him into the Man of Mechs.
Yes!
and he's got like a pocket square, so I turned it into a pocket taco instead. This guy's called Saxius. I turned him into Mexius and turned his sword into a churro. I rush onto the battlefield with my churro of justice.
And then, who lets Speedy Gonzalez in here?
And then we've got Cyrena became Cypool. Badoo, and I gave her a nice pretty pink bow on top because she's a girl and I'm sexist. And I hate women. Free! You dressed a woman in pink and gave her a pretty pink bow in her hair. Ah!
You sexist white male.
White male. So yeah, that's what we've been doing, and that was a really fun thing that I came up with just for the Wampool campaign, because I was charging $15 per Sona. Pretty cheap. Troy tells me I massively undercharged for that. He's probably right, but I was having fun with it, and I wanted it to be like a good deal, during the campaign. Like $15 for custom art? Hell yeah, right?
So you're also giving something to somebody who backed the campaign or might have wanted to back the campaign in some way. Maybe they couldn't back the campaign, but they wanted something to show their support. Right.
I mean that shipping cost could mean the difference for some people between being able to back and not being able to back. Like they say, like, oh well, $15. Like I want to contribute, but like $25 for it is just a bit much. So I say like, hey, $15, Square, PayPal. Send to me. Send me the pick you want me to do. I'll do it up, and then all of the proceeds go into the campaign. And what I'm doing, and the way that I'm doing that, the way that I'm funneling those funds back into the campaign is whatever I get from these. I'm buying additional books for people, and I'm doing that through these giveaways, like the one we're going to be having on Sunday for the everything bundle and for the standard bundle. So it's a really fun way to kind of like get people involved, because then they've got this new profile pic. They can shout it out on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever they want to use this profile pic, this custom art. Share their love of one and spread the word. People notice this stuff. People have come to me and they've said like, hey, man, I'm seeing these fun, awesome, like Wampool style pictures all over Twitter right now. Like, this is awesome, right? And I'm constantly trying to think of different ways that I could get people involved and make this a really fun campaign. Because when you're doing a campaign, you don't want it to just be like, oh, here's my book, buy my book, and then get the fuck out of here. It's going to be like, woo, it's time for the campaign, everybody. Let's have some fun. Let's do something. Let's get together, celebrate this, and then you're going to get these awesome comics as well. So I just think about like, what is the kind of stuff that I want to see out of these campaigns? So I came up with the lightning round goals. If we hit certain goals by a certain point, then you get extra stuff. And who doesn't want that? Like a little bit of extra swag here and there. We got 5 trading cards. We got 3 pinups. We got sticker sheets. So it's fun. Oh, yeah. And that's what this community should be focused on at the end of the day. If you're not having fun making comic books, then you are doing it wrong.
Oh, yeah. And it's also one of those, let's be honest. Even though back in the 90s, we read a lot of the, like, super, edgelord, I guess you could say, comics where everything was like super serious and super dark and whatnot. I saw that. But the thing is we tend to, I guess you could say, enjoy comics that were fun, and try to make fun of how serious comics were then, because of the fact that they're like, comics were meant to be fun. They didn't need to be like super dark and gritty and realistic. They were just meant to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, and then you got into the 2000s. We had a brief moment where comics were starting to be fun again. They're kind of laying off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm having a lot of fun with all these comics. I'm having fun, like, interacting with people and talking to them, and I do it by just ignoring the drama. When you're focused on the fun, like every day is fun. Every day is fun. Working on this is fun. Like, I'm having a great time. I'm drawing a baby in a Wampool costume. That's amazing.
Right?
Josh was going to do Sugar as a Wampool, but your friendly neighborhood ninja beat him to it because he's just faster than Josh.
Oh, fuck you. I will cut you. Man, why you got to do me like that?
Come and get it, boy.
Boy? Who are you calling boy, sir?
Gentlemen, just remember, if this results in a fight, film it so we can put it on the one website where all the fights get put on that people watch, and hopefully make some money off of it. I'm just saying.
World Star Hip Hop.
Star.
Thank you. That's sad.
I should make a new site called Wanstar.
All the puns that could be made with the name Juan. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm always having fun with the puns. I was the one that came up with the hashtag Army of Juan, and that yeah, there's a real roller coaster of events that kind of leads to a lot of these things. You know what I mean? Like the giveaways, the Army of Juan, the Juan Sonas and all that. Like everything's just kind of like one thing leads to another, and it's all very natural because it's genuinely people who are excited for this product and this property, and they love it and they want more, and they just want that fun that we're giving them with this. And I love that. I love it, and I respect the hell out of it.
Well, and you also got to take into account passion projects. You can generally tell the love. Like, it's one of those, how do I put it? Like, take, for instance, Uwe, all right? Every one of his comic book, or not comic book, but video game movies sucked. And then you watch Rampage, and you're like...
Yeah, I've heard it was good.
How the fuck did Uwe get this one right? Because it was a passion project. He wasn't trying to do other people's work. He was like, these motherfuckers think I can't direct. I'm going to show them that I can direct. I'm going to make a movie that is going to be a brutal movie and this, that, and the other. And he did. And it turned out to be really good. I heard even the second one was pretty good. Third one,
Rampage was made before he got into doing these these really bad movies like House of the Dead and whatnot. He actually made that first. Rampage is what he where he got a name for himself that he was able to get onto those properties initially.
I thought Rampage came after.
No. It came first.
Are you talking about Uwe Boll?
Uwe Boll, yeah. It's Uwe Boll, by the way.
Yeah. Well, are you talking about the Rampage with The Rock?
No.
Okay.
No. Different Rampage. It came before.
Uwe Boll. It's 2009. Just checked it. So yeah, it was
I don't even remember that movie. Wow.
Dude.
Well, not a lot of people saw it, but the people that I know that saw it really liked it.
Yeah, it was very much a surprise. It was one of those you were expecting, like, one person, like everyone who saw it at first was expecting it to be a movie that they blast, and then they all came out like, This is made by the same guy, right? And then you find out it was written, directed, produced, all by Uwe Boll. Like and it's like, wow. I think it even got like a sequel that was actually fairly well.
Two other ones, yeah.
Oh wow.
What are you guys saying about Uwe Boll?
He can actually make good movies if he actually cares.
Yeah, well, I mean that is few and far between, but yeah, maybe.
I think the other thing too is a lot of times I've seen good. Take Garth Edwards for example. I really enjoyed his Monsters film. If you guys ever saw that,
I did.
And unfortunately, what was it? What did he direct?
King Kong.
King Kong, Skull
Island?
No,
not King Kong.
Yeah, he did Godzilla. Okay, but yeah, well, let's go to Josh Trask, who did
Trank, Fantastic Four.
I'm sorry, yeah, who did Fantastic Four, but his
Fantastic.
Yeah, his previous project, Chronicles, was unbelievable as a film, and then he fell apart doing Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Well. Also, at the same time, it's like I was like I've stated time and again. It's probably another example because he was saying no. If he got his way, what we would have saw in theaters would have been way different than what we got in theaters. So it sounds like it's another movie where the studio got involved, and you think 20th Century Fox had learned their lesson after the whole Daredevil incident where everyone likes the director's cut but hates the theatrical cut.
Well, there was a lot of things going on though. I heard that he's very erratic on the set and and stuff like that. He was just having like a nervous breakdown and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like think about his situation too. because you're talking about this young guy, right? He's only directed one small budget movie, essentially with his friends, right? And then that blew up his name, his like
brand.
His brand, yeah, and he immediately gets attached to a big budget movie with a major studio, you know, and then the realities of that and how that can affect somebody. Not everybody is cut out for the studio lifestyle because it is cutthroat, it is ruthless, and it is not a creative space. It is not a space for creative people at all.
Speaking of spaces not for creative people, my good friend just got suspended from Twitter. What is going on? This is... I'm sorry, I'm a little irritated right now. I just discovered this.
Twitter's a dumpster fire, so
it really is. Like, let's be honest, the whole reason why anyone even still uses Twitter, and I know we were talking about it earlier, and I'm going to reference it again, the Tim Pool, Jack Dorsey, Joe Rogan episode, you know, with the third wheel of the lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, in that, Tim Pool brought up a lot of these same problems where, you know, people with right think can brigade people, you know, who disagree with them and get them kicked off. And what they don't realize, and is the point that I would have made to Jack Dorsey, it's like, guys like you letting things like this happen is the whole reason why I'm now a registered Republican. You are forcing people into the other camp, because any reasonable person who sees things like that happen where you can be completely kicked off of... Take Canales. Renfremus brigaded him with, you know, or started the brigade against him, got a whole bunch of SJWs to follow suit, and then he got run off Twitter. He's permabanned for what? Being a shit poster?
And even then, Canales wasn't especially spicy.
No, that's what I was about to say, because my good friend here didn't tweet nothing outrageous at all. Like my account, my previous account, I can understand it getting banned. I tried to be a little less spicy on there, but I can still see where I had, you know, maybe done some things that deserved getting banned. But this one here is just for marketing the book that Matt and Rosalind and I are all working on right now. And it's gotten suspended, and I don't know why. There's nothing I've done on here, or that he's done on here.
I don't think it's probably, you know what, probably something in there probably triggered the wrong person for the wrong reason. I mean, there's right now people are being triggered. The outrage culture is just getting way overboard. Just the littlest thing is setting people off.
Oh yeah, so, look at what happened to Troy like last week with the you know, where he redrew a picture of Samus and just made her feminine. A traditionally feminine character. Somebody drew her basically looking like a man, and then he redrew that to be feminine again, and it outraged everybody. And he was like on there for like 4 days straight, just like arguing with people, like trying to just like make him apologize and bow down to us, wrong thinker. And he came out on top because, you know, he eventually just left it behind. But the crazy thing is that some of the people that were defending him, they ended up getting knocked off. Like Lenore, she continued to you know, fight on his behalf with those psycho hose beasts, and you know, she got brigaded and kicked off, just like you say.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. And see, the platforms such as, you know, Twitter, and even Facebook to an extent, or not Facebook, well, yeah, Facebook too, and YouTube, all they encourage that with the way it is, because they're all algorithmic. You know what I mean? They're not like, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can I say that there's a way to avoid being kicked off?
Oh, absolutely.
You can make your statement, all right, but you need to learn how to use language.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about using bad language. There is a way to, and when they have these algorithms that pick up things like, say, you know, learn to code, you know, play with it. There are ways to say the same thing, and smart people will know what you're talking about, that they can't pick up. Secondly, And even if you do, if they kick you off for that, well then, good riddance to Twitter. Because here's the thing: I often say stuff, but most people can't take what I say. They can't report me because they look like they're idiots. Because I never use invective, I never use ad hominem, I never use profanity. Occasionally I go damn or shit, but I mean nobody cares about that.
At the same time, you have a strong control of language. You have very good control of language and an understanding of how to use that language to basically use your language and what people say against them, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Well, I mean, he practices the philosophy of the pen being mightier than the sword.
Mm-hmm.
I do, and I do also know that there's a way to I use the word angle to turn people's language against themselves if they come after me. Now, the thing is like people don't usually come after me anymore from the other side, nor our local weird factions. For the very reason, like I usually either ignore them because I'm not going to be baited, or if I do say something, it's very friendly and something in the vein of noted, cataloged, and thank you for your feedback. Have a nice day. I mean, and then if they come after me, and I just kept saying that, oh, well, that's thanks. Have a nice day. If they keep doing that, they just look stupid.
Yeah, or they look like the bad guy, which they are.
Right. They look like a bad guy. And, I always go back to that one time I dealt with Remfamous. And, I made her my PR person. And she looked stupid.
Oh, man, I remember that. I so remember that. But the point we're making, though, is that people, let's be honest, it's like Duskull was mentioning earlier about the various things, the various ideologies, how they're tools and whatnot. It's just people abuse them. Twitter's the exact same way. It's a tool. And to be honest,
a tool.
No, you are in fact a tool. But
no, you're a towel.
He's catching on.
Right? But my whole point is it's one of those. Twitter is my dad shared this on Facebook actually, talking about how guns even. He's like, guns are a tool. It all depends up to the person on how they use the tools. Everything is a tool. It's all up to how the person uses it. Unfortunately, we have a group of individuals that are determined to take tools that can be used to enlighten and to help grow, if you will, I guess you could say society as a whole, and instead are making it, hey, let's see how basically quickly we can maintain our echo chamber. Let's see how we can push our narrative and control the narrative for so long that when something does, it's like it's a Freedom Tunes actually cartoon I watched earlier when I was setting up the live stream. This way I didn't have to do it when it was getting close to time, and so I could tweet out the link. I saw one where it's like SJW's created a time machine to pull the World War II veterans from the fight in World War II to modern day times, and
that was a good one.
Yeah, and the soldiers are just looking at them like, sounds a lot like you're just creating a situation where you call anyone who disagrees with you a Nazi and makes it to where when actual Nazis present themselves, no one's going to want to do anything because you've cried wolf so many times.
And then they immediately call them Nazis.
Yes, proving their point. It's like, when you have a situation like that and you are failing to take into account that you are doing more damage than good, then, take a little bit of time to think about psychology. Key factor, especially with something like Twitter. If you can present your argument in a calm, coherent fashion, you're more likely to have people go, hey, yeah, I can see that. But instead they decide to, you don't understand because you're just a man, or you're just a white male, or you're just a Nazi.
Well, yeah, even if you create something and you're not a white male, that if they don't like it, they instantly will call you a white male. Like that's the first thing that happened to Troy with that one guy that spawned that beautiful video response that Troy made, that made it into the campaign there. Like he like immediately, the fact that he drew something or that was like a Hispanic man, who was a bisexual, body positive, all that. Him drawing that got like the first thing they went to was, "You're white. That's why you did it. You're a disgusting white male." And he's like, "I'm Hispanic, bro."
Yeah, right.
And they can't do anything about that because he fits their intersectionality thing. Like he's higher on the totem pole than them because they're the guy that was railing on Troy. He was a white male.
Oh no.
So by their own rules, he immediately loses because he can't say anything to this Hispanic man.
Right. And may I say that, the shame is I remember when I was a kid being taught, all right, if you have a disagreement with someone that is merely a misunderstanding, hey, it's not that hard. Sit down, talk it out with them. Do the responsible thing. It's like JFK said in his last speech he did, the one that was recorded and everything, where he says, an error is only a mistake until you refuse to correct it.
Right.
And that's what we have here. We have a situation where no matter how many times they're shown that they're doing things that are erroneous, that could be easily just a mistake, they go, well, we refuse to correct it, and just continue on the cycle of negativity that a lot of us are trying to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait.
And that's the thing. That's what we're trying to do here. We're all trying to stop it. We're trying to move on from the same three, let's be honest, conversation. But we can't do that if they are unwilling to come to the table and have that conversation with us.
Well, that would be harassment, don't you understand? I think I just figured it out. I shared a post earlier of the X-Files screenshot where he's sucking the fat out of her mouth. That's probably why they did it. People are so sensitive. It's insane. And that's the biggest problem.
I've seen worse shit than that on. I mean, I'm seeing full blown porn on Twitter, and they banned that.
I guess. Well, no, because if you remember the interview, porn is not actually against the rules, but they have rules against violence and cruelty, and I guess they're probably going to be striking, bring the hammer down even more so than normal.
Fuck, man.
And so they probably see a fat woman having the fat sucked out of her mouth as violence. Oh, that would be my guess, because that's the only thing I can figure on here.
Peel that shit.
Yeah, and this is all I wanted to do was show y'all this little image right here.
Give me a sec. I will.
I don't know if it's showing on the screen share.
It is. You're talking about the one with the lady that's got like the spider,
cool.
like
the spider walker.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Y'all are only seeing about I don't know, how much would you say they're seeing, Matt? About 75% of her?
Probably. I see the whole legs and everything.
No, you're only seeing 75% of her. You're not seeing all the legs.
Oh, okay.
There's more. There's a lot more. No, I just wanted to show y'all that image so y'all could get an idea of what it is that Matt, Rosalind, and I are all working on together. But then Twitter decided that I'm going to be suspended and cannot tweet out the letter N anymore. So,
well, let me.
The letter N? What's wrong with the letter N?
The N-word, perhaps?
Yeah. I can't say on this live stream here. It might get him in trouble.
That's I would just use the letter M then. See how that works.
Right. But Kyle, this way, in case they do zuck you permanently off of there, I'm shooting you a link to my actual personal Facebook. This way, once y'all's book is, ready to be crowdfunded and everything, I can easily just shoot you, or you can basically, you get the idea.
I got it right here. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're actually making some pretty good. And for those of you who saw me on the last one, who are probably wondering why I jumped to a new project, I don't want to get into too many details, but the previous artist I was with just sort of went silent on me. So, and so.
Unfortunately, that tends to happen a lot. I mean,
yeah, but now
it's funny, they talk a lot about grifters within the community, and it's like the only grifters that are in the community are the ones that do things like that, where they, you commission something from them and then they go silent.
Yeah. Well, this is what was particularly strange, because I'm not going to say his name, but I will say that the dude was an actual pro. He's done inking with Marvel and DC before, and he's been published by Image and Top Cow, I believe. So I was a little surprised when he just stopped responding. Yeah, when he what?
Ghosted you?
I'm sorry, my mic went out there.
Ghosted you.
Oh, ghosted me, yes. So he just, I was a bit surprised. Thankfully, we've got I've got Rosalind now, and she and I are she's an amazing artist, and she's extremely professional. She's always keeping me up to date with everything. And let me turn screen share off.
Oh yeah, I've been having that exact same thing with Raven, the girl that's doing the stickers for the for the Juanpool campaign. She's been amazingly professional and really great to work with. So I'm definitely keeping her on call. That's for sure.
What kind of world are we living in, where women are now more professional than men? It's a sad state of affairs.
I don't think we can really make those kind of blanket statements, because I've met just as many, if not more, men that are just as professional and wonderful.
I make nothing but blanket statements. That's all that matters.
Well, that's because you're a white male.
I'm a white male supremacist. You got that right. That's a joke, by the way. I don't need people coming in on me at me about that.
Amazing how often we have to actually clarify whether something's a joke, even when it should be blatantly obvious.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I've noticed that. I've noticed that even within the Comicsgate community is having some problems with the same sort of thing. It seems like as of late, but I don't want to get into all that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are incredibly. Let me turn. Did I turn the screen share off? Yes, I did. People are incredibly sensitive. You got to make sure. I hate, like when I was a kid, we used to say the most offensive things to each other.
It used to be a contest to see who could be the most offensive.
Yeah, I remember being in the 6th grade, like there was like me and 3 other white kids. We would like Heil Hitler joking around, and our teacher was black, and he'd just laugh at us about it.
True story.
But nowadays you can't even type you literally cannot type the letter N without getting banned.
You literally cannot get an erection without somebody saying you're sig heiling. It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because a true story. My family, we actually hosted a couple German exchange students, and the thing is, like, you can't even make jokes about Nazis in Germany without like potentially fearing government reprisal. So one of the things that the one guy, because he's a good kid, he likes jokes, and one of the things that we used to joke about all the time with him was Nazis, because it was funny. They're funny jokes, and it was something that he couldn't joke about in his own country. So when he came over here and we were able to like laugh and joke about Nazis, like it was extremely cathartic for him. Like it was such a breath of fresh air that he could actually speak freely. Like they're so oppressed over there. It's insane. Like legitimately.
Well, you got to think, man. Nazis, they were very sensitive in their time. You couldn't joke about them now. And now you've got people who won't let you joke about Nazis today. you know, there seems to be a bit of a connection there to me, if you think about it.
I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems insane to me that now Nazis are a protected class. It's true. It's true. if you're not okay, like, there's that old saying, like
I'm gonna apply to a university and tell them that I need special funding because I am a Nazi.
Fellas,
yes,
I'm gonna drop. I just wanted to tell you I appreciate hanging out with all of you because you're all good people, and I want to continue to have the camaraderie and the network that we have to foment and do creative things and just be friends. Maybe one of these days we get together and have a good time. You know, who knows? If we can keep this thing going, do good things, and make our properties get better and bigger, and aid each other with doing what we're doing, we'll be a happier set of people than most of the people in comics right now. So,
word.
You all have a great day.
You too, man. God bless.
You know, one of the things that I'm thinking of doing potentially for the Wampool campaign is if we hit 15K, maybe I'll just have to take a trip down to where Troy is and get him to sign them all.
Right. And may I say real quick though, Josh, because I didn't get a chance to get it in. When you're talking about the Nazis being protected class, the first thing that popped in my head is the whole scene from Helsinki Bridge, where it's like, where one of the Helsing soldiers says, "I don't know, these Nazis look kind of rapey." Jesus, guy, what? Who am I offending? The freaking Nazis?
Yeah, I think it's perfectly okay to offend Nazis. You know, that's just me.
Real Nazis, though. Not the, I'm just going to call you a Nazi and then be as berating as I can be simply because they're now a Nazi because I called you it.
Well, you know, all these people that we're talking about and complaining about, you know that they're Nazis too.
Oh, yeah.
They definitely would have been part of the party in the 1940s.
Oh.
You know, there's no doubt in my mind. Everything they say, did y'all hear about that study, quote study they had done where they had done fraudulent, what was it, scholarship papers of some sort?
Yes.
With the Nazi Mein Kampf.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I don't think people made a big enough deal about that. It just sort of got memory hold.
It's tribalism. You're not going to hear the mainstream media talk about that because all of them except Fox, and Fox has its problems. Well, I'm not going to sit there and say it doesn't, but you know, all the mainstream media networks, the legacy media, they are all predominantly left wing. So of course they're not going to talk about that because that's their tribe. They're not going to go against their tribe.
I mean, you're absolutely right about that, but then even some of the right wing guys, like the Kill Stream, it seemed like they did. I mean, I wasn't really following them as much as I do now, but it seemed like even they didn't really pay much mind to it. I don't know what it was. For some reason, that huge thing just didn't seem to get the traction that it should have gotten, though, at least in my mind. So, I don't know. I guess people are so concerned about the term Nazi that even when it's proven that there's one standing there in front of you, they don't want to use it unless you're a left-winger.
Oh.
So you want to hear something very interesting about the whole Nazi? Josh and I were talking about, or not Josh the Amazing Animator, but Bob Jones. Him and I were talking last weekend. There's a book called Nazi Oaks, and it actually goes into the whole what the Nazis were really about. They were about population control. They were about removing unwanted people from the people they didn't agree with and stuff like that. They actually
environmentalists.
They were huge environmentalists. They were actually many of them were vegans. They did not eat meat. Most of them did not eat meat.
Well, that's because Hitler was a vegan, right?
Yeah, because Hitler was a vegan.
Yeah,
yep.
He sure enough was.
Yep, there's a lot. If you look at a lot of the leftist movement, a lot of that stuff actually matches exactly what the party believed.
I gotta say,
you know what else about the Nazis?
Of all the things that I'm not surprised about Hitler, that's the thing that doesn't surprise me the most, is that he was a vegan.
Well, there was one more thing about the Nazis, and that is that they did try and convict a man for teaching his dog to Heil Hitler.
That's true.
They did do that.
They didn't know.
Yeah.
Is that the UK actually did what the Nazis wouldn't even do.
Right?
Yeah, they actually did it.
And now he's doing it
where the Nazis fight.
And now it's even funnier because now he's got a black pug and he's like, black power in the pug.
Oh, and you know what's funny? Nobody said a thing. Outrage. Nobody gave a shit that his black pug said Heil to black power. Nobody cared. Nobody cared.
No, he said black pill. He didn't say black power.
I thought he said black power.
No, black pill. Black pilled is what I am, as Matt can attest to. No, black pill is something completely different. That's why they didn't say anything.
But real quick, couple things. One, Josh, you got another one.
I got another one.
8368.
Another one. 8368. That's fantastic because that means we got another everything bundle. That is awesome. Man, there's nothing I love selling more than the everything bundle because those are the ones I'm most excited to get out to people because you're getting so much cool shit with that. So much fucking cool shit with the everything bundle. Like I got 2 just for myself. Because, like I'm just like I want it. I would have 7 everything bundles if I could because I want to have like one to give to family or something or a friend. I want one to like immortalize in a frame on the wall. I want one to read and wear, and I want to have like 7 of the shirts so I can have one for every day of the week. You know what I mean? Like I may be the publisher of Wampool as the head of Science Wizard Comics, but what I am before that is one of the biggest Wampool fans. You know,
and that's the biggest thing. It's like, well, it's why whenever we sit there and say the CG wasn't meant to be the movement, it was meant to be a customer revolt. It was meant to be customers taking back the comic industry from the pros. It was meant to be all these indie comics going, fine, we'll go make our own comics with blackjack and hookers.
Oh yeah,
maybe not the blackjack.
I'm sure Jack Irons says the hookers and the blackjack for show.
Well, and the thing is, they said to him, "Oh, well, if you don't want our comics, go make your own." So we go and make our own, and now they're bitching, "Oh my," because hey, Orange made it bad. You know, it's a crazy fucking world we live in. That everything that they tell us to do is exactly what we do, yet it doesn't satisfy them.
They don't, everything that they say, go make your own comics, go do this, go do that, it's all just a veiled they're all just veiled words. They want to dominate. They want you gone from the entire industry. They don't want you anywhere in indies. They don't want you doing your own thing. They don't want you to leave them alone. They don't want you to live with them. They want you exterminated.
Yeah.
They want you dead. They want you dead. They want you enslaved. They want your children, and they want your children. And if they can't rape your children, they will kill them. That is what they want.
Oh yeah.
We're sterilized.
It's because the fact, it's like I mentioned earlier, it's because the foundation that was laid out before them to help, build a better future doesn't fit within their narrative. It doesn't fit with what their view of the world is, so they have to destroy it. But the problem is that they don't realize when it comes to trying to completely restructure an entire civilization. It's like Troy said earlier, you need everyone on board or else it just leads to civil war. One problem, they want the civil war to happen.
Yeah,
but their side doesn't know how to use guns. Like
I disagree with that. There's a lot of leftists who do use guns.
Yes, but the ones that are Antifa, like a lot of the ones that know how to use guns and everything and know how to hunt and so on and so forth, they are slowly over time becoming Republicans because a lot of them were liberals, not far left, and that was the big difference. And because of that, they are seeing that they were like, well, we don't want to be like them. We're not crazy. You know what I mean? And so we have a situation now where it's like, for instance, a lot of people who voted for Trump also voted for Bernie Sanders. Because Trump and Sanders were talking about a lot of the same things, trade deals, things like that, putting America first. Like 2015, Bernie Sanders, open borders is a Koch brothers scheme. We've all heard that from Tim Pool and things of the such. And so now we have a situation where if they do end up starting a civil war, how are they going to fight it? They don't know how to use firearms properly because the ones that would have helped them, that would have showed them how to use the firearms and whatnot, decided to go over to the other side, to the other tribe, because their tribe no longer resembled anything that their tribe once was.
Yeah, which is why
I don't think that. I don't know. I think that's a bit more of an optimistic view than what I would hold. I mean, these people. Like, you're talking about the civilians, but you need to realize that the left is really gaining control over the government more and more. They're really started, so they'll have access to the military in no time. Then big tech they've got their hands in big tech, and they'll be able to propagandize and
anybody who says that this is where I always disagree with. Everybody says, "Oh, the military wouldn't turn their guns on the citizen." Yeah, that's happened before. Germany,
like France, right now.
Yeah, France.
We're talking about using the government, using the military on the citizens of France because they keep rioting. Well, and they're rioting with with good cause. They're being taxed onto the streets.
No, I'm not.
They're being taxed. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The point I was about to make is to rebut what Spork said and everything. The American military their oath is not to the government, it's to the American people, and they are smart enough to see, like, there's a lot of soldiers, like my friends and I were talking about this back in the day, that yes, you'll have your diehard soldiers that are just going to follow orders because, you know, they just want an excuse to kill people. You got those people who pass the psychological evaluation to get in because, you know, that happens. You do have those, but the thing is, they will be gunned down because the other soldiers within it who are the what are they called? I can't remember the name of it, but they're specific. The Oath Keepers. There we go. The Oath Keepers are a bigger majority within our military and within our what's the word? As much as I am hard on law enforcement and do believe that they have a lot of power and there are problems within law enforcement, I'll be the first one to say there is also a lot of oath keepers within law enforcement who will not follow government orders to fire on civilians because they are oath keepers, and those are the ones that are going to keep the other ones in check because the oath keepers are going to go respect your oath and you know what I mean? Follow them up.
They put granted, this was a different time, but nevertheless, it's still worth noting that they did actually put the Japanese in internment camps, even if they were American citizens. What you do is you have big tech. They're in control of... They basically can control all of the information that they want. Then you have the left who's in control of the government as well. It wouldn't be any problem to brainwash some soldiers if they really wanted to. Would not be a problem at all. And then you convince all these soldiers that there's like a bunch of Nazis who have come back. And then
one problem.
What's up?
Florida just passed a bill, like it actually got passed. It's on its way to be signed and everything, or at least it was last I heard. Basically making censorship of social media, these big, Silicon Valley tech censorship, illegal.
And yes, y'all always make fun of us, but look what we did.
And this just happened within this past week, if I remember correctly, maybe week and a half, and it's also may be if they try to challenge it, it could move its way all the way on up to the Supreme Court, and that's where that'll be the big one. If the Supreme Court rules it constitutional that they cannot, that the social media tech companies cannot censor American citizens regardless of their political affiliation and their political beliefs, then at that point it defangs them. Their control over the narrative, their control over the, who gets elevated and who doesn't. You know what I mean?
Well,
I really like what Missouri recently did too, where it was a major win for Second Amendment people.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that too. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, because I'm in Canada, so we don't have a Second Amendment. We don't even have a First Amendment. We need that shit desperately, man. If I ever run for Prime Minister, you can bet your ass that I'll be a constitutional candidate. I'll be saying Canada needs our own constitution. Let's get with the times. We need the freedom. Our people need freedom. But yeah, the Missouri bill that they just passed was about basically your rights will not be infringed regarding guns. If you want guns, you get guns. Go get your guns.
Yeah,
and I love that. I think
that's probably going to go up to the Supreme Court though. Nick Rekieta was talking about it, and I was working at the time, so I couldn't catch it all. But it's going to be everybody does. But it's going to be he is. But it's going to be quite the legal battle because I didn't catch all the legalese, but something to do with federal law as well, and it's going to be coming into conflict with that, and it's probably going to go up to the Supreme Court. And if RBG can just finally peacefully sunset before then,
she already has.
What's that?
She already has. She's dead.
You think she has?
Oh, I fucking know she's dead. If she wasn't dead, they'd be parading her like the hero that they claim that she is. Are you kidding me? She's long since fucking dead.
Is she? But can she be counted as dead if she just needs a few strings and a puppeteer to move her body?
They're gonna weekend at Bernie's her until the cows come home. I'm telling you. Until somebody gets a secret picture of the fucking corpse, they're gonna weekend at Bernie's her as long as they fucking can, because they know that she's their only chance of maintaining any power.
I honestly would not be surprised if they had gotten some fat bitch off the street and put her in, gave her some extensive plastic surgery just to keep it up. And 200 years from now, they'll still be acting like she's alive.
Well, I think part of the issue is, my view is I think it'll get knocked down, because remember, in Washington D.C. or in D.C. there was that law in the books about them blocking gun owners and stuff like that, and that got knocked down by the by the Supreme Court. So Missouri may have a chance of keeping that on the records and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I'm for all sensible for gun ownership and stuff like that. I think everybody should be licensed, should be tested and stuff like that, because there are some people who should not be owning guns.
But
see, y'all I'm sorry, go ahead.
Here's my point with that. The answer to gun violence is not less guns, it's more guns.
Well, all the safest states have the least restrictive gun laws. All of the safest states.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and why? Because Oklahoma just became a constitutional carry state, meaning you don't need a permit. You can, as long as you have, you can openly carry a sidearm or a firearm of any kind within reason. I think there are certain limitations, but you can carry a firearm without any permit, so on and so forth. As long as you can legally own a firearm, you are fine. And what we have here, though, which is the ultimate point of it, is it's a state rights versus a federal rights issue.
Yep.
And technically, state rights and yes, it's supposed to go local, so city, right?
Mm-hmm.
City is ultimate, state is above that, or state below that, and then federal. Federal is supposed to be here's a series of guidelines that you don't have to necessarily follow, but here's what we would like to see. Then states okay, here's our guidelines, and then the town, city is okay, here's what we feel is right for our area.
It's kind of like a film. It's kind of like a feature film set, because you got your broad strokes, which is up on your you got your broad strokes, and then as you get closer and closer to the Joe Schmo, who's doing compositing or whatnot, you're fine tuning and fine tuning and fine tuning it, and that's true with the law, and that's the way the law should be done, I think. Like the federal should be very broad strokes, and then as you get closer and closer to the state,
I'll be right
level,
back, fellas.
it gets more fine tuned.
Oh yeah,
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, but the thing is a lot of people don't understand that. It's also like the whole bit with the Electoral College and how the Democrats are trying to get rid of that. It's like the Electoral College is there to balance major metropolitan cities against the urban areas, the farmers and things like that, the people that we need to run the fucking country.
Right.
Cities don't produce anything. They might have factories, but what good is a factory if you don't have the raw materials to make anything? Which means you need farmers. Who's going to want to be a farmer? Who's going to want to live in the rural areas if they don't have any say in the government? Because the only way you'll have any actual say in your government is if you live in a city. And now the left is trying to get rid of that. They're also trying to lower the age of voting to 16.
Yeah.
And they're also trying to get
could you imagine 16-year-old kids voting?
They're so ignorant. Like I mean, there's going to be like a gem here and there, but like, I'm sorry, kids should not be voting. I think if anything, the voting age should be raised, because there's too many adults that have proven their complete ignorance of anything political, and yet they still vote. Like I think it should be raised to like 30.
No, 21. No, 21.
30.
No, 27, because that's when 30. The brain is finished developing, and they should always have to take. And I say this knowing full well that I will most likely fail the IQ test.
Here's the thing. You say 27. You're right in that it finishes developing, but then there's the matter of experience. Experience is just as important as the development.
But that's why I say 30. Experience. You can't really quantify experience.
No, but you can give them the time to get the experience at the very least. And I think that honestly, like, I didn't have any kind of political awakening or political knowledge until I hit 30. It wasn't really like, as much as I was able to vote, and I did vote on occasion, when pushed to, but I didn't have the knowledge necessary to make a educated decision. Right? That's why I say 30, because that's what makes sense to me.
Well, hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and bow out here. It's 9:30 my time.
We should be calling it to a close anyway, because we've been going for 3.5 hours. So
just like
I'm ready. I'm still ready to go, but I guess I got in late.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, we got Baby Pool coming along here.
Look at Baby Pool.
Very much.
Isn't he adorable?
Oh, definitely.
He's gonna be the genius of the group. That's what I'm thinking, because he's got this keyboard here. I'll have like a screen kind of like glowing onto him, and I'll make it kind of dark and stuff. But yeah.
Wait, that's a boy?
Well, sure.
Oh no, the little tail thing threw me off for some reason. I thought it was a pigtail.
No. That's part of his mask.
Yeah, no, I know. It just threw me off, is all.
But no, it's also one of those. Y'all know I can talk politics for hours.
Yeah, I like that we're able to go back and forth between the politics and the comics.
I actually didn't intend. Yeah, I'm the same way. I didn't intend to talk politics. I came in just to.
Oh, that's what I like about Meeting of the Minds. That's what I like about Meeting of the Minds, is we can kind of flip back and forth, and there are areas where that kind of stuff intersects, particularly with the current atmosphere of like Comicsgate, anti-Comicsgate, et cetera, it is a legitimate culture war.
Yep, that's what I was saying, the general culture war. And it's just one of those situations where, unfortunately, because everything has become so politicized, you cannot escape it.
Right. I mean, we're trying to make, fun, normal comics for normies. That's what we're doing right now,
Yeah.
and we're we're being branded as like the enemy. How dare you make normal comics for normal people? That won't be accepted.
I actually have to correct you on that. I'm going to have to go full auteur because I think once my online behavior and all of the offensive jokes that I can't name on yours live stream, once they come out, I think most people, even like Comicsgate, they're going to be like, you know, oh, how could you do that? How could you say that? That's not funny. You know,
if anybody on Comicsgate starts saying that, then they are absolute hypocrites.
Well, I mean, let me just put it this
most
way.
definitely.
I'm one of the people. I'm one of the people who like to go on Nurkish's Discord and have a laugh.
Oh, well, you should go on Turbo sometime.
On what?
Turbo Live.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Can you say that again?
Turbo Live.
Oh, I don't know.
I was actually about to just go ahead and tell Chuck to pop out for real quick though, because he didn't get a chance to do it. Just so y'all know, you can always follow Chuck at Sporkman Studios over on the Twitters. You can subscribe to him here on YouTube, you know, at Sporkman Studios as well. I think he said it was a week. Their Indiegogo will be going live with a whole bunch of new features. Like we mentioned earlier, we will be doing a radio serial. I'm not entirely sure exactly how it's going to take, what shape it's going to take, but yes.
A radio serial. That actually sounds pretty interesting.
Well, I'm supposed to be on Popefire eventually. I don't know when they start, but I think they start pretty late.
Oh yeah, I don't even know. Like, and may I say, first off, I gotta pull this from chat. This always happens on a Nerd in Over 30 streams. I promise we won't get all political 5 minutes later. Fucking commies! And I love it. Like, and it's then Neostar. I honestly don't have a lot of formal knowledge when it comes to politics. I'd rather just make fun cartoons and action adventure stories. And there's nothing wrong with that, Neostar. I mean, granted, I do believe you need at least some basic knowledge of politics, because like the thing that bothers me the most about when people say, well, I'm not political. It doesn't matter if you're not political. Politics don't care if you're political or not. They will still happen regardless of, you know, what, if you're involved or not. So it's best to be involved and try to at least shape the conversation for the betterment.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong about that, because like, and I'm going to use this as a shameless self-plug, but also to make a point. It doesn't matter how non-political you try to be, because like with Song of the Whippoorwills, there's no politics in it. But I guarantee you, and Matt, you can attest to this as well.
Yep.
The main character, they're going to see the main character, and it's going to be politicized by the left if they see it, because he is clearly right wing, even though there's no politics in it. The dude has a bomb shelter and an armory, you know. So, and they're going to want to I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, why does that automatically have to mean he's right wing, though? I mean, there are, like was mentioned earlier, there are people on the left who have an armory. There are people on the left who probably have bomb shelters and things like that. That there are preppers come in all shapes and sizes. It doesn't, and you know, political affiliations.
You're not wrong about that, but you have to think that when it comes to the right and, you know, the left, like the radical left, only sees caricatures. That's it.
That's true. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. But anyway, guys, like Bob Jones was saying, we should probably wrap this up. Turbo Live is also starting, so if anybody wants to check them out, they're a good time. They have a lot of laughs, and they're very spicy as well. So check out Turbo Live.
There you go.
Will do.
All right, so I guess I'm going to start with Matt because he's right there on the left.
You can check me out on at MattTrin on Twitter. I'll be running a Kickstarter on April 5th with Brett McGowan and Dan Sekro for the Mythoverse. It's It's a fun time with urban fantasy, with no politics. And you can trust me when I say no politics.
Sorry, that's my bad.
No, it's all right. You gave me the perfect opening.
There you go.
But yeah, there's also a Twitter account for that called for at the Mythoverse, or was it at Mythoverse? Either one.
I can't wait to not read that. No politics. I want to be preached to.
Okay, we'll talk about how racist Mahvel is.
Exactly.
You say that, but if you have any experience with Spanish people, a lot of them are really racist towards other Spanish people.
Oh man, we had so much fun, like shooting the shit last night, me and Troy. Oh my god, we had the fucking best conversation about Juan Pool. Like, I some of the things that we say in private, I wish we could put that out there publicly.
Look. When I worked at McDonald's, I worked with a Mexican. When we got an order for 15 McChickens, he'd go, "Oh, must be a Mexican." Sure enough, it was a car full of Mexicans.
You go ask a Puerto Rican their opinion on a Cuban, and just sit back and enjoy the show that you're about to get.
All right, well, that's Matt Trin. Let's move on. Who's the next on the list there, Bob Jones? Let's end this.
It's actually you.
Okay, well, I am Josh the Amazing Animator. You can find me on the Twitters at MORDENNIGHT. That's Morden Night. You can also find me on YouTube at Manimations Inc. That's capital MAN, Imations, capital INC, for Incorporated. And I am currently running and managing and financially supporting the Juan Pool campaign on Indiegogo. We have 7 days left. Help us get to $10,000 so that we can add additional content, a preview of Mr. Mahvel's next project, The Offspring. And you can follow him at Mr. Mahvel. So
Thank you.
There you go. And I'm going to take off then. You guys have a good night. Finish up, and if you want to hear more from me, I'll be joining the Triple Dark chat to keep going. Take care, guys.
Later.
You too.
All right, Vile, you're up.
All right, well, you can follow my good friend once his suspension is over on Twitter at swhipperwills. We are working on our comic, so that's a good place to keep up to date with it. Matt is our editor for that comic, by the way. And that's about it. Yeah, just follow our Twitter and keep up to date if you're looking for a good apocalyptic horror story. That, if you're a fan of Justified or Silent Hill, keep an eye out for that.
All right. And as always, I'm your host, the one and only Bob Jones. You can find me on Twitter at Brainiac420. You can find me in Minds, Gab, and TikTok at Bob Jones Comic Wars, and on Instagram at Bob Jones Comic Wars. I need to remember to pitch that. And my comic, Raziel the Fallen, will be sent off to the basically to my artist here soon.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to see it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But with that, I will bid you folks adieu.
God bless.
Later.